Part 31. God Level Tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Taido. Chapter 302. Jiangbei University. Door. A Lamborghini Poison drove directly in. Wow, what a sports car. Wow, it's a Lamborghini. Oh my god, it's Poison. This car is so handsome, it belongs to a rich man. I'm poisoned. When the Zhang University students saw this Lamborghini, they immediately exclaimed, with a hint of envy in their voices. Everyone wants to own such a handsome sports car. Men are envious, and women also want to sit on it. Pairs of eyes fell on this sports car one after another, wanting to know which rich man this sports car belonged to. The next moment, the Lamborghini suddenly stopped in a parking space. A handsome young man got out of the driver's seat, with handsome appearance and a touch of extraordinary temperament. Wow, so handsome. Which class is this from? What's its name? I love it. I want to go up and ask for WeChat. When many girls see Li Hao, their beautiful eyes sparkle again, and their hearts are ready to move. Boys who own a Lamborghini and are so handsome are really rare, and they definitely have the first right to choose a mate. But then, the passenger door opened again, and a pair of long snow-white legs suddenly appeared in the sight of all the students. Then a woman wearing a snow-white cheongsam walked down, her body filled with a touch of elegance and nobility. With a touch of classical charm, the cheongsam perfectly shows off its proud figure. It is convex where it should be and curled where it should be. It's Goddess Ye. Oh my god, Goddess Ye actually came in this guy's car. What's their relationship? Could it be that they are boyfriend and girlfriend? Oh my god, my earth. The famous flower actually has an owner. My goddess. When everyone saw Ye Xiun, the recognized goddess of the school, actually getting out of the passenger seat of the car, many people made horrified sounds and were shocked to the core. The women couldn't help but feel ashamed when they saw Ye Xiun, but the men felt extremely unhappy and sad when they saw this scene. Ye Xiun got off the Lamborghini and felt the eyes of the students around her, and a faint blush appeared on her pretty face. Getting off Li Hao's car in front of so many students will definitely cause misunderstandings among the students. But Ye Xiun didn't care either. I'm going to class, you should also go to class quickly and don't skip class again. Ye Xiun immediately said to Li Hao. Li Hao was speechless and nodded. Then the two of them separated and went to their respective classes. It was morning and classes were about to begin. With a thought, Li Hao sensed where his brothers were, heading towards a classroom not far ahead. Li Hao immediately also headed towards that classroom. Xiaoji, Wu Chao and Chen Tao walked into the lecture theater and directly found a seat in the corner of the back row and sat down. But at this moment, a figure sat down directly next to Chen Tao. The three of them looked aside inadvertently. Damn it, Rat, you actually came to class. Rat, I thought you were kicked out of school. Rat. When Wu Chao and the others saw that it was Li Hao, their eyes widened and they said in great surprise. You guy, what have you been doing these days? You haven't come to class for so long. Boss Li is making a lot of money, have you forgotten about your brothers? The three of them were very excited, but they spoke in a strange and sinister manner. Li Hao was speechless when he heard the three people playing, and immediately said lightly. How could you forget your brother? Even if your wife forgets, you can't forget your brother. I'm really busy these days. I went to southern Xinjiang, the Magic City, and Beijing. I just came back yesterday. Li Hao said directly without any cover-up. Damn it, the big boss is just busy. I haven't even been to the Magic City yet. Hearing Li Hao's words, Chen Tao immediately said weakly that his family conditions were average and he had never traveled far in his life. Going to Jiangbei from the county seat to go to school was the farthest place he had ever traveled. Awesome. Next to him, Wu Chao also said to Li Hao. Where? Li Hao waved his hand humbly, but seeing that Xiaoji didn't say much, he couldn't help but look at Xiaoji. But when Li Hao's eyes fell on Xiaoji's face, he couldn't help but be stunned, his eyes condensed, and his brows instantly wrinkled. What's going on? Li Hao immediately asked the three of them. Li Hao saw that Xiaoji was wearing a peaked cap. There were still some bruises on his face under the peaked cap, and his mouth was still broken and scarred. When Xiaoji heard Li Hao's words, his expression changed slightly, but he said nothing. Wu Chao next to him saw the scene and said immediately. I don't know either. This guy won't say anything. He started acting like this when he came to school the day before yesterday. He didn't even have class yesterday. Brother Ji, how did you get injured? At this time, Chen Tao also asked from the side. I accidentally got into a small car accident. It's okay. It's been taken care of. When Xiaoji heard what the three brothers said, he immediately said again and found a reason. However, when Li Hao saw this scene, he frowned and said to Xiaoji in a deep voice. Brother Ji, do you think we are brothers? Li Hao looked straight at Xiaoji, and Xiaoji also raised his head and looked at Li Hao, his eyes somewhat evasive, but his heart was tangled. Of course we are brothers. Xiaoji said immediately after hearing Li Hao's words. Since we are brothers, then tell the truth. Li Hao said to Xiaoji in a deep voice again, which shocked Xiaoji again. As a pill-forming monk, Li Hao could naturally tell at a glance that Xiaoji was not telling the truth. Mouse is right. Brother Ji, you should tell the truth if you are a brother. What happened? Brother Ji, how did you get that injury on your face? Next to them, Wu Chao and Chen Tao also said something else. When Xiaoji heard what the three of them said, he frowned again, still looking troubled and unwilling to say anything. Who should have inflicted this injury on your face, right? Li Hao said directly again. Although he was asking, his voice was full of certainty. What? Beaten? I'm just telling you. Brother Ji, who is it? Wu Chao and Chen Tao were shocked again when they heard Li Hao's words. Xiaoji's expression changed again and became a little ugly. It's not that he doesn't want to say it, it's that he can't afford to offend her. The other parties, I'm afraid none of the brothers can afford to offend him. Did you fight the night before yesterday? And you didn't fight alone. Li Hao said in a deep voice. The words he said made Xiaoji freeze again and open his mouth slightly. He didn't expect that Li Hao's guess was absolutely correct. Where did you go the night before yesterday? Even if you don't tell me, I can easily find out. Do you believe it? Before Xiaoji could say anything, Li Hao said calmly. Rat is the president of Yu Hao Group. Brother Ji, whether you believe it or not, I do. Wu Chao and Chen Tao next to them heard Li Hao's words and said one after another. When Xiaoji heard this, how could he not believe it? Wu Chao was right. Li Hao was the president of Yu Hao Group. He was worth hundreds of millions. It should be very simple to check one thing. Well. Suddenly, Xiaoji sighed. That's right, my injury was caused by someone else. Xiaoji said slowly. What? Who dares to hit Brother Ji? Let's go and settle the score. As soon as Xiaoji said something, Wu Chao said again. Damn, you dare to hit our 504 people. Don't you want to live? I'll kill him. Pa. At the same time, Chen Tao slapped the table, stood up suddenly, and said loudly. At this moment, in the huge classroom, pairs of eyes suddenly looked towards Chen Tao, and were startled by Chen Tao's actions just now. What's wrong with this guy? Many students were thinking in their minds at this moment, feeling a little baffled, and looking at Chen Tao with strange eyes. Well. Chen Tao felt the eyes of everyone, and couldn't help but be startled again, his rough face turned red, and he quickly sat down again. The accounts must be settled. Let Brother G finish his words. Li Hao said in a deep voice again. Oh, that's it? I chatted with a girl on QQ, a girl from the normal university. She is very pretty and has a good figure. She seems to be a school beauty from the normal university. The day before yesterday was that girl's birthday, and I went to attend her birthday. You don't know, that girl is really good looking. She is my type. She is prettier than the girls before me. I really liked this girl, so I confessed my love on the spot. Originally, the girl agreed, but then, a group of people rushed in. It was that girl he liked. Of course I was not convinced, and then I started to fight with the opponent. Later, the guy called some people over. And that's it? Xiaoji said slowly, explaining the cause and effect in great detail, and the process was clear and clear. But it made Wu Chao and the three of them stunned. Damn it, Brother G, don't you have several girls? I actually flirted with another one. Amazing. Wu Chao and Chen Tao immediately said again, with a hint of admiration in their voices. Neither of them even has a girlfriend, but Xiaoji can easily get one. I really like this girl. I went to those girls in the past to have a good relationship, just for fun. At best, they are just friends. Xiaoji said again. Brother G, since you were beaten, with your temperament, you didn't fight back. Isn't your family quite rich? Your father seems to be a boss, right? Wu Chao immediately asked again. Well, originally I just went to find my second dad, who was a promiscuous man, and I was going to find a place. At this time, Xiaoji simply sighed again. Unexpectedly, that guy is actually from the Yang family. My second father can't afford to offend him. A member of the Yang family. When Li Hao heard this, he was surprised and confused. He had no idea who this Yang family member was. Is the Yang family awesome? What about the Yang family? I'm still from the Wu family. Wu Chao and Chen Tao also said in confusion. Of course he's very awesome. Even my dad can't afford to offend him. The Yang family is one of the top powers in Jiangbei, at least ranked among the top 3. It is said that they are also related to some big families in Jinghua, among which there seems to be Zhu. The existence of Monk Ji. Oh, that's a monk. Do you know what that means? Xiaoji sighed again, feeling helpless towards the Yang family. Chen Tao, what does it mean? It means that in the entire Jiangbei, no one dares to offend the Yang family. It means that the Yang family is like the local emperor of Jiangbei. Xiaoji suddenly said in a deep voice. Hiss. Then what's going on? Brother Ji, wasn't your beating in vain? When Chen Tao and Wu Chao heard this, they couldn't help but took another breath of cold air and said weakly. Otherwise, what else can be done? Xiaoji said sadly again. So, it's not that I don't want to say it, but it's useless if I say it. However, after hearing Xiaoji's words, Li Hao couldn't help but shake his head. How do you know it's useless? Li Hao said calmly again. Whoever hurts my brother must pay the price. I heard Li Hao say in a deep voice again, his voice filled with coldness, determination, and very domineering. My brother, don't bully him. My brother. Don't bully. At this moment, when Wu Chao and Chen Tao heard Li Hao's words, their hearts were shocked, and they couldn't help but feel a rush of blood. Damn, you rat, you're awesome. Mouse, what you said is so inspiring. Wu Chao and Chen Tao next to them said immediately. Xiaoji couldn't help but feel shocked when he heard Li Hao's words. Mouse, I'm so touched. I thank you. But don't be impulsive, we can't afford to offend the Yang family. Although Xiaoji was moved, he was also self-aware. He knew the strength of the Yang family. Even though he was taught a lesson by his father after he returned, how could Li Hao offend him? He immediately said to Li Hao again. He. After hearing Xiaoji's words, Li Hao laughed again. It's just a small Yang family, there's nothing we can't afford to offend. They hurt you and my brother, and they have to pay the price. I still say the same thing. My brother, don't bully him. Li Hao said firmly again, his voice full of doubt. The little Yang family. When Wu Chao and the others heard Li Hao's words, they couldn't help but be shocked again. Rat. Mouse, are you serious? Rat. The three of them immediately looked at Li Hao. However, Li Hao laughed again. Haha, don't worry. It's just a small Yang family, so what about the monks? I really don't take them seriously. After class, go and make them pay. Li Hao said in a deep voice again. Xiaoji and the others were really shocked by Li Hao. He actually didn't even pay attention to the Yang family, which had monks. The three of them didn't know where the confidence came from. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 303. Li Hao's words shocked the hearts of Xiaoji and the three of them. Looking at Li Hao's sure look, the three of them felt worried. The other party was from the Yang family, a powerful golden power with monks. Even Xiaoji, their fathers, did not dare to settle the accounts and could only give up. However, at this moment, Li Hao did not seem to take the Yang family seriously at all. The three of them couldn't help but be surprised. Where did Li Hao get his confidence from? The three of them didn't say anything else, they just thought Li Hao was joking and just talking. During a certain class, Li Hao took time to make another phone call. Soon, Li Hao learned some information about the Yang family. There is only one foundation building monk in the Yang family, so there is nothing to be afraid of. Li Hao has already made some decisions in his heart. Until the four of them finished the class. Brothers, let's go to the disco tonight. Li Hao said directly to the three of them. What? Disco? Damn it, you can have this. Are you treating me to a treat, rat? When Wu Chao and Chen Tao heard Li Hao's words, their eyes widened immediately and they couldn't help but ask Li Hao. That's right, let's go to the disco. As for the treat, this time it's Brother Ji. Li Hao nodded again and looked at Xiaoji. Xiaoji looked confused. Brother Ji, please ask that girl out tonight. It's just in time to show it to the brothers. Li Hao said to Xiaoji again. Yes. Brother Ji, please invite that girl out tonight and show it to the brothers. By the way, call out some more girls so that Brother Tao and I can get out of singles. Wu Chao said from the side again that the girl he fell in love with last time, after some friendship, she didn't give him a chance at all. Wu Chao had no choice but to give it up. He was still a bachelor at the moment. Brother Chao is right, Brother Ji, please call out more girls. Then drink some wine and you can hook up with them if you don't mind. Chen Ting also echoed that he was very interested in dating girls. Xiaoji's expression changed slightly when he heard what the three people said. But if Yang Shuang of the Yang family knew about it, I'm afraid. Xiaoji said weakly again, with a hint of worry in his voice. Yang Shuang was that guy from the Yang family, and he was attracted to that girl just like him. The injuries on his body were caused by the other party's subordinates. You know it if you know it. Don't be afraid, Brother Ji. I'm here. I said, my brother can't be bullied. If he dares to come, I will let him know that not everyone can bully my brother. Yang Hao is your family. Li Hao said in a deep voice, without any sign of paying attention to the other party in his voice, and immediately looked at Xiaoji again. What? Brother Ji, are you scared? Afraid? Am I afraid? How is that possible? If you can't fight, let's just fight again. When Xiaoji heard Li Hao's words, he immediately said again. What Mao said is right, how can our brothers be bullied so easily? Come on if you come, and if we fight, we will fight. Wu Chao and Chen Tao, who were next to them, immediately said again, and they were also aroused. Okay. Then I'll ask her. When Xiaoji saw Li Hao and the others like this, he immediately responded weakly. Then, Li Hao and the others saw Xiaoji holding his mobile phone and starting to send messages. Where to go? Xiaoji asked again in a deep voice. Since he wanted to dance, he had to find a place. Just the Jushin Dynasty bar. At this time, Li Hao said in a deep voice again. This Jushin Dynasty bar seems to be the property of the Yang family. This is the information Li Hao found out during his previous phone call. Damn it, Mouse, you also know about the Nine Heavens Dynasty. This is one of the best bars in Jiangbei. It seems quite expensive. Wu Chao and Chen Tao immediately said again. Anyway, Brother Ji is here to treat us. Haha. Li Hao said with a smile again. Xiaoji. Jushin Dynasty will be Jushin Dynasty. I will take my position now. Xiaoji also said in a deep voice. He naturally knew that Jushin Dynasty was a very popular disco place in Jiangbei. Xiaoji immediately sent the address to the girl, and then asked the girl to bring out some other girls such as sisters or roommates. After a few people finished their classes, they went out to find a place to have dinner. The sky was gradually getting dark. It was just when the nightlife had just begun. The three of them immediately took a taxi and went directly to the Jushin Dynasty bar. Jushin Dynasty bar, located in the most prosperous area in Jiangbei, is the property of the Yang family. Even though the sky had just darkened, people were already here. Li Hao and the other two also came directly to the door of the bar. Sir, do you have an appointment? Suddenly, a bar staff came to the door of the bar and asked the four people. Have. Xiaoji said immediately. Xiaoji was then taken to the service desk and inquired about the previous seat reservation information. Li Hao and the other three walked directly into the bar. Move every time, hit every time. Bang blind karaka. Boom, boom, boom. In the bar, the loud music kept playing, the brilliant lights kept shining, and some figures were swaying on the dance floor, twisting to the rhythm of the music. Li Hao saw that there were also some girls with very hot figures in mini skirts who were twisting and turning on the dance floor. They were dressed very sexy, which made the boys couldn't help but feel restless. Li Hao and the other two were taken to the booth. Soon, bottles of wine were brought up, and there were many kinds of foreign wine, beer, and red wine. Xiaoji also came over and said directly to Li Hao and the other two. Come on, have a drink first. Cheers. Cheers. Suddenly, Li Hao and the other two also picked up their glasses, and then the four brothers clinked their glasses and drank them all in one gulp. Brother Ji, when will your girl come? At this time, Chen Tao couldn't help asking Xiaoji again. Yes. Brother Ji, has the girl come? Wu Chao also asked. It should be soon. I asked her to call the sisters in the dormitory. Xiaoji said immediately. As soon as the voice fell, Xiaoji's mobile phone rang. Ding 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 ding. Xiaoji saw the phone and quickly picked it up. Hello. Okay, I'll come out from Mashan. Xiaoji answered the phone, hung up the phone, and said to Li Hao and the other two. They are here, I'll go out for a while. So, Xiaoji walked out of the bar again. Li Hao, Wu Chao, and Chen Tao continued to drink. A few minutes later, Xiaoji came in with a few people and came directly to the booth. Next to Xiaoji, a woman in a white skirt was calling out. The woman was tall and had a pretty face. She was dressed very delicately. If she scored 100 points, she would be at least 90 points, very pure. Behind this woman, there were 4 or 5 girls, who looked good. Although not as good as the girl in front, they were also very beautiful. They were obviously the roommates or besties of this girl. Smiling, they are all my good brothers, Li Hao, Wu Chao, Chen Tao. Xiaoji immediately introduced to this girl again. The girl looked at Li Hao and the other two, nodded, and greeted them softly, with a well-behaved smile on her pretty face. Hello. At this time, Xiaoji introduced Li Hao and the other two again. Wang Meiling, these are Meiling's girlfriends. Xiaoji didn't expect that Wang Meiling was asked out by him again, and just now at the door, she kept showing concern for him. Li Hao and the other two also looked at the woman in front of them, and their eyes lit up. The three of them were all amazed by the woman in front of them. She is really beautiful, no wonder Xiaoji, a playboy, is moved by her true love. However, when Li Hao saw Wang Meiling for the first time, he couldn't help but frown slightly. As a cultivator, Li Hao's perception is so sharp, and he is also good at medical skills. Li Hao sensed something through Wang Meiling's spirit. This woman doesn't look as pure and innocent as she appears. But Li Hao couldn't say anything at this moment. After all, this is the woman his brother likes. But if the other party deceives his brother, Li Hao will not stand idly by. For a while, these girls also sat down one after another. While drinking, several people slowly let go, and after getting to know each other, they gradually became familiar with each other. Just when Li Hao and others were drinking, dancing, and flirting with girls in the Jushan Dynasty bar. In a 5-star hotel not far from here, in the most luxurious private room, a banquet had just ended. Son, take Master Nai to have a good time in Jiangbei. No matter how much money it costs, it's fine. As long as we hold on to Master Nai, our Yang family is destined to move up a level. The whole of Jiangbei will only respect our Yang family. Don't slack off. All his requests are met. A middle-aged man in a robe was pulling a young man to the corner and whispering. This middle-aged man was Yang Tianwei of the Yang family, one of the only 2 or 3 cultivators in Jiangbei, and this young man was Yang Tianwei's only son, Yang Shuang. Dad, don't worry, I will definitely treat Master Nai well. Yang Shuang nodded firmly and said in response. If Xiaoji was here, he would definitely recognize that this young man was the guy who had his men beat him up 2 days ago. Not far away, there was a young man in white casual clothes, surrounded by some people with a proud face, and everyone's eyes were full of respect. This young man exudes an extraordinary temperament. His name is Nai Yun. The reason why these people value him so much is because of his extraordinary identity. He came from Kunlun Mountain. There is a fairy mountain on Kunlun Mountain, and the mountain is in the void. And on Kunlun Mountain, there is a rare sect of cultivation on the continent. Kunlun Fairy Palace. This is the sect of cultivation on Kunlun Fairy Mountain. The people of the sect are all cultivators without exception. As a person from Kunlun Fairy Palace, Nai Yun was specially sent out by the sect to enter the world and prepare to recruit disciples for Kunlun Fairy Palace. Nai Yun looks very young, but he is actually not young. He has been on Kunlun Fairy Mountain for many years. This time, as a sect member walking in the world, he finally has the opportunity to enjoy the beauty of the secular world. So, when Nai Yun was invited to a banquet by the Yang family, Nai Yun did not resist at all, and even accepted it very comfortably. Soon, Yang Shuang came to Nai Yun again. Mr. Nai, let's go to the bar tonight and have fun. There are a lot of girls. Yang Shuang said respectfully to Nai Yun. Oh? Really? Then go and have fun. But don't be too high profile. Hearing Yang Shuang's words, Nai Yun's eyes lit up, and he immediately said, although he walks in the world as the Kunlun Immortal Palace and represents the Kunlun Immortal Palace, he also has a mission this time and cannot be too high profile, and he is also in the secular world. The existence of monks means that there are no people who can threaten him, so Nai Yun still wants to keep a low profile. Don't worry, Mr. Nai. I have already made arrangements. Yang Shuang said immediately. Immediately afterwards, Yang Shuang and Nai Yun walked towards the entrance of the hotel, followed by several guards, and then took the car directly to the Jushin Dynasty bar. Here we are. Mr. Nye. A few minutes later, several cars stopped at the gate of Jushin Dynasty bar, and Yang Shuang said respectfully to Nye Yun again. Young Master Yang. Welcome young Master Yang. At this time, the bar manager on duty and some on-site stewards had all come out and shouted respectfully to Yang Shuang. Before, they knew that the little boss was coming here, so they were waiting at the door early. This is Mr. Nye. Yang Shuang immediately said to everyone again. Hello, Mr. Nye. Welcome Mr. Nye. When everyone heard Yang Shuang's words, they couldn't help but be shocked again. They saw the respect on Yang Shuang's face, and they quickly shouted respectfully to the young man in white next to Yang Shuang. Well, it looks pretty good. Nye Yun nodded, looked at the brightly lit hotel entrance in front of him, felt the situation inside the bar, and said with a smile. Young Master Nye doesn't know. This bar is the property of our Yang family. This bar is one of the best in the whole of Jiangbei. There are countless beauties dancing here every night. Wait a minute, Mr. Nye, which one do you like, beauty, just tell me directly. Yang Shuang patted his chest again and said. Well, let's go in and have a look. When Nye Yun heard Yang Shuang's words, a faint smile appeared on his face again, and then he spoke directly. After saying that, Nye Yun was ready to walk directly into the bar. Finally, Yang Shuang and others followed. At this very moment, inside the bar, in the booth, Li Hao was drinking wine with the beautiful woman next to him, but at this moment, Li Hao's brows suddenly wrinkled again. Li Hao let out a hint of surprise. Because, in Li Hao's perception, there was a powerful aura slowly coming in outside the bar door. He was clearly a monk. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 304. Li Hao felt something strange in his heart. A monk actually came outside the bar door. He seemed to be not weak at all. He was in the late stage of foundation building. The next moment, Li Hao saw several figures coming in from outside the door. These figures were filled with an arrogant aura. They were basically warriors, and the leaders were two young men. Li Hao's eyes fell directly on one of the young men wearing white clothes. He looked like he was in his 30s, but Li Hao felt a powerful aura from him. His temperament was extraordinary. Simply standing there are some spiritual energy surrounding him involuntarily, with him as the center. Li Hao's eyes couldn't help but condense. This guy was the monk that Li Hao had just sensed. When Li Hao looked at the other party, Nye Yun also looked towards Li Hao. Nye Yun was surrounded by Yang Shuang and others. As soon as he came in, he realized that someone was looking at him, and his eyes immediately looked forward. After passing the crowd of lights, he saw a young man sitting on a booth. Looking at him, his brows couldn't help but frown slightly. This is a young man in his 20s. Apart from being even more handsome than him, there is nothing special about him. But the next moment, Nye Yun looked at the young man's side again. There were actually several girls who were very cute. Especially the woman wearing a skirt, who was among the women he had seen. Can be regarded as drawing the sword. Suddenly, a light burst out in Nye Yun's eyes, and an idea came to his mind. Sure enough, there are a lot of beauties here. A faint smile appeared on Nye Yun's face and he murmured. Next to him, Yang Shuang heard Nye Yun's words and immediately said again. That's necessary. Mr. Nye, how about it? Is there anyone you like? If there is a beautiful woman you like, just tell me and I will take care of it. If not, it doesn't matter. It's still early. Wait. There will be more girls coming soon, many of them are from universities. Na Yun nodded lightly, but didn't say anything. He could naturally tell that the beautiful woman he saw seemed to have a boyfriend, and was sitting next to a boy drinking in the booth. But what does that matter? No rush. Na Yun was not in a hurry, as long as it was the woman he liked, he would not be able to escape even without Yang Shuang and others. Soon, the duty manager of the bar took Yang Shuang, Na Yun, and others to a booth and sat down. And this booth happened to be right next to the booths of Li Hao and others. Just when Na Yun and others came here, Yang Shuang glanced at the booth next to him inadvertently, but his eyes widened in the next moment. Damn it, it's you, how dare you come to my bar? Bringing the woman I like. Are you looking for death? Yang Shuang immediately looked at the booth next to him and said sternly to one of the young men. Isn't this young man the same guy he just taught a lesson 2 days ago? Yang Shuang's eyes widened and he couldn't believe that this guy who was so beaten by him that his mother didn't even recognize him actually dared to appear in front of him. Mainly because he came to his bar and made an appointment with the guy he liked. Girl. At this time, when everyone heard Yang Shuang's words, they couldn't help but frown, and their eyes were full of doubts. What's going on? At this moment, Xiaoji also looked at Yang Shuang, and his expression couldn't help but change again, becoming a little ugly, and even the movement of drinking wine in his hand froze. Xiaoji didn't expect that he would meet this guy again. His bar? Xiaoji couldn't help but feel condensed in his heart when he heard what the other party just said. This bar actually belongs to the other party? Doesn't that mean that he is throwing himself into a trap? Xiaoji was actually a little timid towards this guy from the Yang family. I really can't afford it. Xiaoji doesn't want to meet the other party at all. But what happened was counterproductive. Xiaoji's face turned a little dark, which was extremely unnatural. So unlucky. Xiaoji had a sullen face and said nothing, but his heart had already hit rock bottom. Have you forgotten the lesson from last time so quickly? How dare you come out? But at this time, this Yang Shuang said sternly to Xiaoji again. Next to them, Wu Chao, Chen Tao and others couldn't help but change their expressions, frowned, and asked in surprise. Brother Ji, was the injury on your face caused by this guy? Brother Jack. Before Xiaoji could say anything, Yang Shuang laughed coldly again. Haha, yes, I was the one who hit him. What? Are you this guy's brother? Do you want to help your brother vent his anger? Just the two of you? Who are you? Yang Shuang's voice was full of coldness, and he didn't look at Wu Chao and others at all. Damn it, I'm your ancestor. How dare you beat our 504 people? I will beat you until you can't find your mother. When Wu Chao and Chen Tao heard each other's words, they were instantly irritated. They immediately stood up and said sternly. The two of them are just like dumbfounded men. They must not be timid in front of such beauties. They stand up and look like they are about to fight. Ah! What are you going to do? Is there going to be a fight? Ah, don't fight. Dot. Seeing this scene, the girls next to them also lost their color instantly, screamed, and even stood up and went to the side. If Wu Chao and others really fight with each other, don't hurt them by mistake. Yang Shuang. What are you doing? I said I don't like you. At this time, the girl named Wang Meiling next to Xiaoji saw Yang Shuang, and her face was instantly changed, and she immediately said to Xiaoji. Wang Meiling, you are the woman I like. There is no woman I can't get. I advise you to stand on my side obediently. Otherwise, don't blame me for using force. When Yang Shuang saw Wang Meiling, he said coldly again, and then he looked at Wu Chao and Chen Tao. Very good. Really good. You succeeded in angering me. Yang Shuang said coldly. Come here. Yang Shuang shouted directly again. Young Master Yang, we are here. Young Master Yang. Soon, several figures came up from behind Yang Shuang and said respectfully to him. They were all very tall and strong, and they didn't look like ordinary people. Warriors, these people were all warriors. First, kill these two guys. This is the price for standing up for his brother. Yang Shuang pointed at Wu Chao and Chen Tao and said sternly. Yes. Yes. Soon, voices echoed throughout the bar, and 7 or 8 figures surrounded the booth where Li Hao was, with a fierce momentum and a huge scene. And this scene was naturally not seen by other people in the bar. For a while, there was an uproar again. Who is that? They actually offended young Master Yang. It's so miserable. It's going to be a disaster. It's so sad. This Yang Shuang is the son of the Yang family. Even this bar is his property. Many people think that Wu Chao and Chen Tao are going to be miserable. At this time, Wu Chao and Chen Tao's faces became a little ugly, and they also had a little fear in their hearts. There are so many people. It seems that they can't beat them. What to do? Wait online. Wu Chao and Chen Tao looked at Li Hao again. Hazi, didn't you say that your brothers should not be bullied? Hazi said that you are here. Wu Chao and Chen Tao said weakly to Li Hao. When they saw Li Hao, they were still sitting there with a calm look and didn't say a word. They were speechless again. Haha, you go first? I'll cover you. Seeing this scene, Li Hao couldn't help laughing again and said to the two of them lightly. Hum. When the two heard what Li Hao said, they cursed and wanted to cry. You two, do you want to do it yourself or do we do it? At this time, Yang Shuang's men looked at Wu Chao and Chen Tao again. Why are you talking nonsense with them? Do it? At this time, Yang Shuang said again in a stern voice. Yes. Young Master Yang. Go. Suddenly, those people burst out with powerful strength and rushed directly towards Wu Chao and Chen Tao. Ah! The girls next to them exclaimed again when they saw this scene. Come at me if you have the guts. Xiaoji's face changed drastically and he shouted angrily. Damn it, let's fight. Your grandpa. When Wu Chao and Chen Tao saw this scene, they naturally did not sit there and wait for death. They shouted and rushed towards them with their fists clenched. Isn't it just a fight if you risk your life? It's not like they haven't been beaten before. It seemed that Wu Chao and Chen Tao were about to fight each other. At this time, Li Hao's expression moved slightly again, and he flicked his finger forward. Suddenly, a spiritual power shot out and landed on Wu Chao and Chen Tao, entering their bodies. Buzz. At this moment, Wu Chao and Chen Tao were shocked and lost their minds for a moment, as if a force had instantly controlled their bodies. At the same time, a powerful force burst out from their bodies. Boom! Bang 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 bang! Then, a series of dull sounds suddenly resounded in the bar. The people around were shocked to see that the men under Yang Shuang were beaten down by the two men in front of them. Hiss! Are these two guys so powerful? Two people beat down those warriors. There was a sound of gasps at the scene, and many people stared at the scene in front of them with wide eyes, their hearts filled with incomparable shock. Even Xiaoji on the side stared at the scene in front of him. You too. Wu Chao also looked at the scene in front of him in disbelief. This was beyond his imagination. As a brother, Xiaoji naturally knew what kind of people Wu Chao and Chen Tao were. How could they beat down these sturdy men? It must be an illusion. Buzz. It was at this moment. Buzz. Wu Chao and Chen Tao were shocked, and then stared at the scene in front of them blankly. Even they themselves said that they didn't believe themselves. Did we do this? What happened to me just now? Wu Chao and Chen Tao looked confused. They seemed to be out of control at that moment, but they could clearly understand what happened. When did they become so powerful? They don't even know it. This is of course not Wu Chao and Chen Tao's own strength. It was Li Hao's power. Li Hao simply used his cultivation power to briefly control the bodies of the two people, and then the scene before him happened. It's rubbish. It's really rubbish. It can't even deal with these two people. When Yang Shuang saw this scene, his face couldn't help but become a little ugly, and he suddenly said angrily to several people. The next moment, Yang Shuang looked at Xiaoji again. I didn't expect that. I actually called for help. However, this is our Yang family's territory. Yang Shuang said coldly again. As Yang Shuang's voice fell, many people came to gather behind Yang Shuang, including all the security guards of this bar. One after another, figures surrounded Li Hao and the others, and there were more than 10 figures. Go. Destroy them for me. Then Yang Shuang ordered these people again. Suddenly, figures one after another looked at Wu Chao and the others coldly, looking fierce and about to take action. Wait. But at this moment, another voice came from the side, calling these people directly. Yang Shuang looked at the young man beside him in confusion, and asked the young man in surprise. Master Nai, what's wrong? You are no match for them. Nai Yun suddenly said in a deep voice. Ah! How come? When Yang Shuang heard Nai Yun's words, he couldn't help but be shocked again. He frowned and asked, not wanting to believe it. However, he could not refute Nai Yun's words. Nai Yun didn't answer either. And he looked straight at the young man who had been sitting in front of him, his eyes slightly focused. At that moment, Nai Yun keenly felt a powerful fluctuation in cultivation. Although it was only faint for a moment, it actually appeared. And this cultivation fluctuation came from this young man. The reason why these two people were able to knock down these warriors just now was because of this. In other words, this young man is undoubtedly a monk. Nai Yun did not feel the other party's true cultivation level. Is this fellow Taoist also from the mountain? Nai Yun looked directly at Li Hao and asked Li Hao in a deep voice. As soon as Nai Yun's words came out, everyone around him was immediately shocked, especially Yang Shuang. Fellow Taoist? This Nai Yun is a monk, and naturally the only people he can call a Taoist friend are monks. Next to them, Wu Chao, Chen Tao, Xiaoji and others also looked at Li Hao with surprised expressions. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 305. Did I come down from the mountain too? He. When Li Hao heard what the other party said, he smiled lightly again. It seems that the man in front of me came down from the mountain. What mountain? What else could it be? The other party must have come down from those fairy mountains. Such as Kunlun Fairy Mountain, Penglai Fairy Mountain, Tewa Fairy Mountain, Yaokai Fairy Mountain, etc. Li Hao's heart condensed slightly. So, the person in front of him is a person from a cultivating force. No wonder he looks so proud. It doesn't come down from the mountain. I don't know what you are talking about. Li Hao said directly and calmly. He. When Nai Yun heard Li Hao's words, he couldn't help but laugh again. It looks like he didn't come down from the mountain. Nai Yun said calmly again. If the other party is also a monk from the Immortal Mountain, then he may still be a little wary, because the other party may also be walking in the world of the immortal sect like him. If the other person is also a person who came down from the Immortal Mountain, it is impossible not to know what he means, so at this moment Nai Yun feels that the other person is not a monk who came down from the Immortal Mountain. Since he is not a monk from the Immortal Mountain or a sect walking in the world, he should be a cultivator in the secular world. If this is the case, then he has nothing to be afraid of. So what if it is? So what if it's not? I only heard Li Hao say coldly again. If not, I advise you to get out of here quickly. Before this young master is still angry. Nai Yun said sharply again. Li Hao looked at the guy in front of him calmly, but couldn't help but laugh again. I don't know where you got the courage from. Li Hao said lightly. As Li Hao finished speaking, Na Yun suddenly left. Boom. At the same time, a powerful momentum burst out from Na Yun's body, and the powerful monks in the late stage of foundation building were instantly released. In an instant, an unparalleled sense of oppression filled everyone's body. Ah! What's going on? What a terrible feeling. I feel like I can't breathe. Everyone looked horrified, made horrified sounds, and felt like they were suffocating. Powerful. This is the feeling Na Yun gave everyone at this moment. Na Yun looked at Li Hao coldly and arrogantly again, and spoke to Li Hao in a deep voice with a condescending attitude. Now, do you dare to say what you just said? Immediately, Na Yun turned to Yang Shuang behind him and said. Let me do it. You are no match for this guy. However, I will take action with conditions. Haha, Mr. Nai, you couldn't have made a better move. Just say whatever conditions you have, I will agree to all your conditions. Hearing Na Yun's words, Yang Shuang laughed loudly and said directly. This girl is pretty, and I've fallen in love with her. From this moment on, she's mine. Na Yun pointed at Wang Meiling again and suddenly said, his voice filled with a hint of doubt. But at this moment, when Yang Shuang heard Na Yun's words, his expression suddenly condensed. Yang Shuang didn't expect that Na Yun would also fall in love with Wang Meiling. This was the woman he fell in love with first. Yang Shuang's face became a little unnatural, and he felt a little unhappy in his heart, but at this moment, he suppressed it and couldn't show it. The young man in front of him was a powerful monk from the Kunlun Fairy Mountain. He couldn't disobey him in the slightest. If one of them is bad and makes the other party angry, it will easily lead to disaster. The other party's destruction of their Yang family is as easy as pinching an ant. On the other hand, if this young man is made happy, then this is their opportunity. The Yang family can embrace the Kunlun immortal section when the time comes. No one in the entire Dawa and even the entire continent will dare to provoke their Yang family. Even his father had specifically told him. Therefore, even though Na Yun now fell in love with the woman he had originally fallen in love with, Yang Shuang did not dare to feel the slightest bit unhappy at this moment. Mr. Nai, don't worry. As long as you like this girl, she will be yours. She can't escape. I will ask them to open the room right now. Yang Shuang was thinking for a moment, and suddenly smiled and said respectfully to Na Yun. Woman, what the hell? As long as they can catch up with Na Yun, there are plenty of beautiful women, so at this moment, Yang Shuang gave up the thoughts he originally had about Wang Meiling without hesitation. In front, Wang Meiling also heard the words of the guy in front of her, and her pretty face changed slightly. At this time, Xiaoji took Wang Meiling's hand and blocked her behind her, but there was a solemn look in her eyes. Na Yun looked at Yang Shuang lightly at this moment. Yeah, you're sensible. Don't worry. I'll tell the sect later and see if I can make your Yang family a vassal family of my section. Na Yun nodded again and said directly. When Yang Shuang heard Na Yun's words, he was immediately overjoyed. That's great. Thank you, Mr. Nai. Yang Shuang said to Na Yun with great joy and excitement. It doesn't matter. Now, I'd better deal with the guy in front of me first. Na Yun waved his hand again and looked at Li Hao. So much nonsense. Are you done? Li Hao said calmly without changing his expression. How arrogant. I want to see what means you have, just release your cultivation. When Na Yun heard Li Hao's words, his expression suddenly turned cold and he said sternly. You alone are not qualified. Li Hao said calmly, without looking at Na Yun at all. Very good. Really good. You succeeded in irritating me. No matter which force you belong to, I must destroy you today. Na Yun was instantly angry and said coldly again. Boom. Immediately afterwards, spiritual power was flowing around Na Yun's body, and a fierce momentum rose instantly. At this moment, Na Yun's momentum instantly became extremely terrifying. With one punch, Na Yun gathered extremely powerful power, and with a movement of his body, he struck directly at Li Hao. However, when Li Hao saw this scene, his eyes narrowed slightly, but his expression did not change much. The next moment, Li Hao also punched directly. At the same time, Li Hao also had an unparalleled super aura that was instantly released. Boom! This momentum is earth-shattering. Li Hao stood there, as if he was carrying the power of heaven and earth, as if he had the whole world under his feet. At this moment, everyone was shocked. This is... Even Na Yun was suddenly startled, with horror written on his face. Because, the other party's cultivation aura has clearly surpassed foundation establishment. That's pill formation. How is this possible? Na Yun couldn't believe that the opponent was actually a pill-forming monk, but he was much stronger than him in terms of cultivation aura. Compared with him, it was like one was in the sky and the other was on the ground. But at this moment, Na Yun had an arrow on the string and had no choice but to take action. Na Yun gathered all his strength and blasted towards the opponent. But at this time, Li Hao also punched directly. When he punched out, there was purple lightning on his fist, exuding a destructive aura. The powerful momentum of the two people had already shaken those around them to the corner. Immediately afterwards, everyone was shocked to see that the two people collided directly. Boom! There was a deafening roar and thunder exploded. When Na Yun's fist collided with Li Hao's fist, Na Yun felt an unparalleled power coming instantly, and it was accompanied by the power of destruction. The power was directly devastating, instantly eroding his strength. Smashed. Immediately afterwards. Click. Ah! A scream suddenly came from Na Yun's mouth, accompanied by the sound of Na Yun's arm bones breaking. Bang! The next moment, everyone was shocked to see a figure being blasted away heavily, and then smashed into the bar in the distance with great embarrassment, directly making a hole. And the figure that was blown away was none other than Na Yun. At this moment, Na Yun no longer had the demeanor of a Taoist, and looked extremely embarrassed. Blood was vomiting from his mouth and his white clothes were dyed red, and his long hair was extremely messy. Ji Dan, you are actually in the Danji realm. Na Yun pointed at Li Hao and said in shock. His heart was filled with disbelief that the other party, so young, could actually be a more powerful monk in the Dan formation realm than him. On the other hand, Li Hao still stood proudly and retracted his fist calmly, without any big fluctuation in his expression. Master Nai. Are you okay? When Yang Shuang and others saw the scene happening in front of them, their expressions changed drastically, and they immediately rushed towards Na Yun, and soon came to Na Yun's side. Next to Li Hao, when Wu Chao and others saw this scene, their eyes widened and their hearts trembled crazily. Damn it, rat! You are so strong! What are you doing? Wu Chao, Chen Tao, and others couldn't help but feel shocked in their hearts and said to Li Hao in amazement. Next to her, Wang Meiling and her besties and friends were also stunned and shocked. Handsome! So handsome! You actually hurt Mr. Nai. Do you know who Mr. Nai is? You are miserable. Yang Shuang looked at Li Hao again and couldn't help but said sharply. Li Hao looked at this guy again and sneered. Ha ha. You are the one who is miserable, right? I will make you miserable now. As Li Hao's voice fell, Li Hao slowly walked forward and came directly in front of Yang Shuang and Na Yun. Ah, don't come over here. Yang Shuang's expression suddenly changed, and a touch of fear arose in his heart. Come on. Kill him for me. Yang Shuang immediately said to those men again. However, these subordinates were stunned for a moment. You looked at me, I looked at you, as if you didn't dare to take action. The other party even crushed this monk. Didn't they go up to deliver food? Damn it, give it to me. What are you doing standing there in a daze? Yang Shuang suddenly became angry and shouted loudly again. Superior! Give it your all. Dot. Helpless, these subordinates did not dare to disobey Yang Shuang, so they could only bite the bullet and rush towards Li Hao. Not the slightest surprise. These people have not rushed to Li Hao yet. Bang 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 bang. With Li Hao's body as the center, a powerful force of energy seemed to be generated instantly, and then directly hit these people. Then these people suffered a huge blow and were directly blown away. Ah! Accompanied by the sounds of vomiting blood and countless screams, these people smashed in all directions. The scene was chaotic and extremely messy. This scene, when it fell into Yang Shuang's eyes, made his face turn a little pale. He only saw the other person walk straight in front of him, and then looked down at him. Now let's talk, who suffers? Li Hao looked at Yang Shuang coldly and asked lightly. It was me who was miserable, I was miserable. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Yang Shuang's face condensed, fear was growing in his heart, fear was spreading, and he said immediately. However, before Yang Shuang finished speaking, a foot had already stepped on him. Suddenly, Yang Shuang felt as if his stomach had been hit by a huge force, and his internal organs were shattered. Wow! A large mouthful of blood spurted out directly from Yang Shuang's mouth, mixed with some broken internal organs. Yang Shuang felt so much pain that he curled up. He had never suffered anything like this before. Bang! Then, another foot stepped on him. Click! Ah! Another scream suddenly came from Yang Shuang's mouth, and several bones and ribs in Yang Shuang's body were crushed. I was wrong, please, let me go. At this moment, Yang Shuang was in severe pain, extremely miserable, and begged to Li Hao. However, the next moment, a strong and powerful hand was already pinching his neck. Yang Shuang's eyes widened, and he felt like he couldn't breathe and was about to die. These two kicks are for my brother. I, Li Hao's brother, cannot be bullied. Li Hao looked calmly at Yang Shuang, who was being held by him like a chicken, and said in a deep voice. The person you beg for shouldn't be me, but my brother. Bang! As Li Hao finished speaking, Li Hao directly lifted Yang Shuang and threw him forward. Xiaoji! No, brother Ji, I was wrong, please let me go. Please, let me go. Yang Shuang immediately lay down in front of Xiaoji and begged Xiaoji for mercy. Damn it, the brother who beat me. Go to hell. Weren't you very arrogant just now? Xiaoji didn't say anything, but Wu Chao and Chen Tao next to him could no longer bear it. They rushed up and kicked Yang Shuang a few more times, making Yang Shuang scream in agony. It was really pitiful, the Yang family. It was the first time that the young master suffered such pain. Li Hao ignored Yang Shuang, but looked at Nai Yun in front of him and said lightly. It's your turn. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 306. It's your turn. Li Hao looked at Nai Yun coldly. Nai Yun's expression suddenly changed. You, what are you going to do? When Nai Yun saw Li Hao's eyes, his expression couldn't help but change. He actually felt a touch of fear and asked Li Hao. What are you doing? Haha, of course I will destroy you. Now that I have taken action, I have to pay the price. When Li Hao heard Nai Yun's words, he sneered again and said lightly. Ah! Do you know who I am? You can't destroy me. When Nai Yun heard Li Hao's words, his expression suddenly changed again, and he said sternly to Li Hao. But it was at this moment. Li Hao's eyes flashed with brilliance, and he took a step forward without saying much. Bang! Li Hao stepped directly on Nai Yun's chest again. I don't care who you are. Li Hao said lightly. Pht. A powerful force fell directly on Na Yun's chest, and Na Yun also spurted out a mouthful of blood. Ah! Na Yun suddenly screamed and felt that all the internal organs of his body were severely injured. You can't destroy me. I came from Kunlun Mountain. I am a member of the Kunlun Immortal Section. Na Yun said sternly to Li Hao again. He had never been treated like this before. He was trampled under his feet. He quickly revealed his identity. He only thought that the other party did not know his identity, so he dared to do this. To him, if he revealed his identity at this moment, the other party would definitely be frightened and apologize directly to him. However, what happened in the next scene made Na Yun feel that he was overthinking. Kunlun Immortal Sect? Never heard of it? Sorry. Li Hao's expression did not change when he heard what he said, and he said coldly again. Immediately afterwards, a powerful force of cultivation burst out instantly. Then he stepped on Na Yun with another powerful kick. Na Yun was horrified when he saw this scene, and he quickly used his remaining strength to condense a layer of protection on his body, trying to resist. But the next moment, bang! Li Hao stepped directly on Na Yun's protection. The majestic power was irresistible, and a huge roar resounded instantly. Na Yun's protection had no effect at all, and was directly shattered by Li Hao's power, destroying everything. Click. Ah! Only to hear Na Yun let out another scream, accompanied by the sound of broken bones. At this moment, Na Yun felt that under this kick, a powerful force fell into his body, crushing all the bones in his body. Also shattered were his body meridians and dantian. The foundation of cultivation. The spiritual power of his body was flowing out in an instant. The foundation of his cultivation was abolished, and what was also abolished was his cultivation power in the later stage of foundation building. Ah! Na Yun felt that his cultivation had been abolished, and his whole person was filled with incomparable anger, grief, and horror, as well as a sense of disbelief that the other party had really abolished his cultivation. You actually crippled me, I'm going to kill you. Na Yun looked at Li Hao, his eyes filled with incomparable hatred, and his voice filled with strong resentment. Ah, Mr. Nai. You actually crippled Mr. Nai. You are dead, no matter who you are dead. Master Nai is from Kunlun Immortal Palace. You will pay the price for this. At this time, Yang Shuang, who had been beaten into a panda shape, saw Na Yun being deposed, and suddenly said sternly to Li Hao. People from Kunlun Immortal Palace? Haha, what does that mean? When Li Hao heard Yang Shuang's words, he smiled faintly, and his smile was full of carelessness. At this moment, everyone looked at Li Hao with a look of shock, and the expressions they looked at Li Hao had become different. The hearts of Xiaoji, Wu Chao, and others were already filled with turmoil. They thought what Li Hao said was a joke before, but they didn't expect that what Li Hao said was true. No matter who the other party is, as long as he offends his brother, he will pay the price. He, Li Hao's brother, cannot be bullied. At this moment, Xiaoji and the others felt a surge of excitement in their hearts, and their blood was boiling. This is their brother. He does what he says, so what if the other party is the Yang family? So what if the other party is a monk? In front of his brothers, he is really a scumbag. Li Hao withdrew his gaze, turned to Xiaoji and others, and smiled calmly. Immediately, Li Hao ignored Na Yun and Yang Shuang on the ground and slowly walked towards Jai Fanaiyu. But behind him, there was an extremely vicious voice. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill your whole family, I'm going to kill your girlfriend, your brother. There is no need to doubt, these words were naturally said by Na Yun. When Li Hao heard what the other party said, he couldn't help but pause in his steps and his eyes froze. Li Hao paused, turned around, and looked at Na Yun again, with a sharp edge in his eyes. Just wait. As long as I live, I will kill you, your woman, and these brothers. None of them can escape. Na Yun's voice was filled with incomparable hatred and malice. Even though his cultivation had been abolished, he still said these words sternly at this moment. Threat. This is a naked threat. A murderous intent flashed in Li Hao's eyes. Threat. He was never afraid of threats. Boom. An amazing power of cultivation was released from Li Hao's body again. At this moment, everyone felt a terrifying sense of oppression. The next moment, Li Hao grabbed Na Yun directly in the air. A shocking scene suddenly appeared, and Na Yun's body on the ground was actually sucked over by a strong suction force. In an instant, Na Yu's body had come to the front of Na Yu's body, and his neck was tightly pinched by a pair of hands. Na Yun was pinched by Li Hao's hand, and the whole person was lifted up like a chicken. A terrifying feeling of suffocation filled Na Yun's heart, and Na Yun felt that death was about to come. But even so, Na Yun laughed unexpectedly again. Ha ha. You can't kill me. You don't dare to kill me. If you kill me, you won't survive. I am from Kunlun Xian Zone. Although Na Yun was strangled by Li Hao, he was not afraid at all. He still had confidence because he was from Kunlun Xian Zone. Behind him stood the giant Kunlun Xian Zone. As long as Li Hao was not a fool, he would never provoke such an existence as Kunlun Xian Zone. So even so, Na Yun still felt that Li Hao didn't dare to kill him. He struggled to speak from his throat, and his voice was still full of coldness and arrogance. However, he hadn't finished his words yet. Ka! Li Hao's hand holding his neck suddenly exerted force, and a crisp sound came from Na Yun's neck. Na Yu's neck was directly strangled by Li Hao. At this moment, Na Yun widened his eyes and couldn't believe that the other party actually dared to kill him. How dare he kill himself? How could he kill himself? This was the last thought in Na Yun's heart at this moment. He couldn't believe until his death that he died like this. Before his death, Na Yun saw a hint of mockery in the other party's eyes. The other party looked at him as if he was looking at a fool. Despair and a hint of regret. He seemed to have provoked an existence that he should not have provoked. The other party did not even take his Kunlun immortal sect seriously. However, it was too late. Na Yun's neck was strangled, blood gushed out of his mouth, and he soon lost his life. Death. You talk too much nonsense. Li Hao threw Na Yun in his hand to the ground and said lightly. After he crippled Na Yun, he originally did not intend to kill the other party, but he never thought that the other party would dare to threaten him. The dragon has reverse scales, and it will die if it is touched. Li Hao has no family, but he has friends. Whether it is those female friends or the brothers in front of him, they are all Li Hao's reverse scales. The other party dared to threaten him with this and said that he dared not kill him. Then Li Hao naturally killed Na Yun directly without any hesitation. Kunlun immortal sect, so what? Although he may be very strong, Li Hao is still fearless. He killed someone. Ah! He killed someone. Hiss. He actually killed someone. This is a cultivator. He died just like that. Dot. The people in the bar next to him were shocked when they saw this scene, and some even couldn't help screaming. Ah! You actually killed Master Nai. You are in big trouble. Kunlun immortal sect will not forgive you. Dot. Yang Shuang saw that Li Hao actually killed Na Yun, and pointed at Li Hao in shock, saying in a shocked voice. Believe it or not, he killed you too. Li Hao glanced at this guy indifferently. When Yang Shuang heard what Li Hao said, his heart suddenly jumped, and he felt endless fear. Ah! Don't kill me. I was wrong. Please don't kill me. Dot. Yang Shuang immediately begged for mercy from Li Hao. He was really scared. Since the other party dared to kill Na Yun, what was he? Li Hao looked at Yang Shuang indifferently, but didn't kill him. Then he said to Xiaoji, Wu Chao, and others. Let's go. It's boring to continue drinking. After that, Li Hao walked directly to the door of the bar. The people standing in front of him involuntarily made way. When passing by Na Yun's body, Li Hao's sight fell on a ring on Na Yun's hand. It seems to be a good thing. Li Hao grabbed the ring again, and a spiritual power immediately fell on the ring. The ring directly broke away from Na Yun's finger and then fell into Li Hao's hand. Li Hao grabbed the ring and couldn't help but tremble again. It turned out to be a storage ring. In Li Hao's perception, there are several cubic spaces in this ring, which are actually piled with many spiritual stones, some elixirs, a jade plaque, bank cards, and some sundries, etc. Well, it's pretty good. Li Hao said lightly in his heart, there are unexpected gains. But it's normal to think about it. This guy is from Kunlun Immortal Sect, a cultivator in the late stage of foundation building, and he is also worshipped by this Yang family like a master. How could there be nothing at all? Li Hao directly put the ring away. Then he pointed at Na Yu's body again, and suddenly another blazing flame appeared on Na Yun's body. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Then, everyone was shocked to see that Na Yun's body actually began to burn directly, and the flames instantly engulfed it, and then the air was filled with the smell of barbecue. Then, there was no Na Yun's body on the ground, only a handful of ash. Horror. This scene fell into the eyes of the people around, but it was extremely terrifying. Isn't this too terrifying? What kind of method is this? Destroy the body and eliminate all traces. Except for this handful of ash, Na Yun completely disappeared from this world. The next moment, Li Hao's fingers moved in the void a few more times, as if strange runes were born, and at the same time, some tiny insects that were even difficult to see with the naked eye appeared densely. Buzz. A strange wave was released from Li Hao's body, and then enveloped everyone in the hotel. Those tiny insects instantly filled the entire space, and then drilled into the bodies of these people from their facial features. Then, everyone felt their heads buzzing, and the images they had just seen in their minds seemed to be deleted. Witchcraft. Amnesia. These insects can make people lose their memory. They are not life-threatening to these people, but they can make them forget things they should not remember. In order to avoid some unnecessary trouble, Li Hao simply performed a trick. In the bar, the music continued, the drinkers were drinking, and the shakers continued to shake. But at this moment, they were confused for a moment. Huh? Who am I? What am I doing? By the way, I'm dancing. I'm drinking. Even Yang Shuang was confused at this moment. Huh? What happened just now? Where is Master Nai? Why does my body hurt so much? Who the hell did this? Yang Shuang still remembered that he came here with Na Yun, but he didn't know what happened just now, and even forgot that he was beaten before. Seeing the injuries on his body, he shouted angrily. Manager, I don't know when the surveillance broke down. At this time, a front desk staff came to Yang Shuang and said to the duty manager of the bar. What? The surveillance broke down. The duty manager suddenly widened his eyes and said in surprise. Wasn't it fine before? How could it break down? The duty manager immediately went to check, and the next moment he found something supernatural. The surveillance of the entire bar, I don't know when, all broke down. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 307. Li Hao directly used the witchcraft to inflict amnesia poison on everyone, making everyone present forget what just happened. The surveillance cameras in this bar had already been damaged the moment Li Hao used his power of cultivation. Although Li Hao is not afraid of trouble, he still tries to avoid it as much as possible. Next, Li Hao left directly. As for Xiaoji, Wu Chao, and others, they stayed. With so many girls and such a good opportunity, Wu Chao and the others didn't want to miss it, hoping to be single. After Li Hao left the Jushan Dynasty bar, he prepared to go directly back to Jiangbei No. 1 courtyard. But at this time, Li Hao frowned, then looked into the distance. There was a sharp aura coming from there. Li Hao saw a figure standing on a street lamp in the night. The figure stood proudly on the street lamp, holding hands and wearing a black robe. Even from a distance, Li Hao could still see clearly that this figure was a young man, who looked to be in his 20s. His long hair was very elegant, covering half of his face, and this young man's on his back, there was actually a long sword. Li Hao felt a powerful aura from this young man. He is also a monk, and he is also in the late stage of foundation building, but he is stronger than the previous Nai Yun. Half of his feet have stepped into the realm of pill formation, and he is only one step away from the real realm of pill formation. When Li Hao saw this young man, his expression slightly condensed, but he didn't pay too much attention. At this moment, the young man also looked at Li Hao, with a fierce look in his eyes. He had felt Nai Yun's presence before and followed him here. He knew that the guy named Nai Yun was a member of the Kunlun Immortal section. He was a world walker of the Kunlun Immortal sect and represented the Kunlun Immortal section. He was also a world walker, but he was different from Nai Yun. Yes, the person standing behind him was not the Kunlun Immortal sect, but the Tewa Sword sect. Tewa Sword sect is also an immortal sect, but it is famous for its swordsmanship. Most of the people in Tewa Sword sect are powerful practitioners of swordsmanship, and their strength is the best among many immortal sects in drawing swords. This young man had noticed that Nai Yun had come here before, so he wanted to have a discussion and get some information from Nai Yun. However, after he saw Nai Yun enter the bar just now, he actually did not come out again. Even the monk's aura disappeared, which immediately filled his heart with shock. Is Nai Yun dead? How is this possible? At this moment, he saw a young man who was younger than him walking out of the bar, and his eyes suddenly froze again. Although he could not see the specific strength of this young man, just like an ordinary person, his intuition told him that Nai Yun was killed by the young man in front of him. Did you kill Nai Yun of the Kunlun Immortal sect? The young man carrying the sword said to Li Hao in a deep voice again. Li Hao's eyes froze when he heard what the other party said. Are you together? If so, I don't mind killing one more. Li Hao looked at this guy indifferently, his expression did not change much, and said coldly. But when Li Hao's words fell into this guy's ears, his expression suddenly changed. As expected, I was killed by you. The young man carrying the sword suddenly said in a deep voice. Since you can kill Nai Yun, you must be very strong. Hearing Li Hao's words, he undoubtedly admitted it. Suddenly, the eyes of the young man carrying the sword burst out with a powerful fighting spirit. Take my sword. The sword is famous in the clouds. A powerful aura suddenly erupted from this young man's body, and all his half-step pill-forming realm cultivation was released. At the same time, the long sword on his back was already in his hand, and then he another loud shout. As soon as he finished speaking, he slashed out with a sword. This sword came out with a powerful sword energy, which seemed to split the entire night sky, turning into a stream of clouds on the sky, making the entire night sky shine. At this moment, everyone felt that the sky was lit up. The sword came down and struck directly at Li Hao, showing a fierce power. When Li Hao saw this scene, his brows furrowed slightly, and a sharp edge burst out from his eyes. Roll! Li Hao shouted angrily. Roll, roll, roll. The word go reverberated throughout the world. At this moment, there was a thunder in the whole world, carrying the power of heaven and earth, and accompanied by Li Hao's powerful cultivation power, shaking the world. Boom! In an instant, an extremely majestic force hit the young man's sword energy directly. Immediately afterwards, the young man's complexion changed drastically, and then he felt an extremely powerful force, an invisible force, directly hitting his sword energy. Click! His sword energy shattered directly, as if he had received the will of heaven and earth. Follow your words. The young man carrying the sword was extremely shocked. He was violently shocked and felt a sense of fear that he had never felt before. Bang! The next moment, the power of heaven and earth directly knocked his long sword away, and his body received a huge impact, and then another stream of blood spurted directly into his mouth. The young man's body was even blown away and fell to the ground with difficulty. Jajadan. Ye Wuhan's expression was extremely horrified and he said in disbelief. The opponent's voice can injure him, so he must be in the powerful Dan formation realm. Even within their sect, those who are in the core formation realm are powerful beings. His Tewa sword sect only has 5 monks in the core formation realm, and they are all elder level beings. Ye Wuhan didn't expect that the young man in front of him would actually be in the Dan formation realm. When did such a powerful existence exist in the secular world? Ye Wuhan was the name of this young man. He knew that the other party was very strong, but he never thought that the other party was so strong. He thought that even though he was not an opponent, he never thought that he would be so miserable. This was completely crushing. The opponent just shouted coldly and didn't even raise his hand, but he was already seriously injured. The next moment, Ye Wuhan saw the young man move and suddenly come to his side like a ghost, which made him feel extremely horrified in his heart. Want to die? I don't mind helping you. Li Hao looked at the young man in front of him calmly and said coldly. Li Hao's voice fell into Ye Wuhan's ears, and Ye Wuhan's expression changed drastically. No, no, no misunderstanding. Brother. This is a misunderstanding. I just wanted to test how strong you are, brother, and you are indeed much stronger than me. Brother, I really don't mean any harm. Ye Wuhan quickly said to Li Hao. He felt the fierceness in the other person's eyes and was horrified in his heart. He was really scared. Since the other party dared to kill Nai Yun of the Kunlun immortal sect, he naturally also dared to kill him. Got him. So Ye Wuhan immediately begged Li Hao for mercy, very sincerely. In his heart, Ye Wuhan cursed to himself, damn, why are you so unlucky? I just wanted to try my sword, but unexpectedly I kicked the iron plate. Li Hao still looked at this guy indifferently, and then said directly. It's okay if I don't kill you. I ask, you answer. Okay, brother, if you have any questions, just ask me. As long as I know, I will tell you everything I know. After hearing Li Hao's words, Ye Wuhan immediately said again. What's your name? You shouldn't be from the Kunlun immortal sect, right? Li Hao asked directly. No, Nai Yun and I are not together. My name is Ye Wuhan, and I belong to the Tewa sword section. Ye Wuhan said immediately. Tewa sword sect? Apart from you two immortal sects, what other sects are there on the mainland? It was also the first time that Li Hao heard the name of the Tewa sword sect, and he immediately asked again. This guy in front of him is a disciple of the immortal section, he should know a lot of things. Li Hao felt that he needed to know more about these immortal sections' zones information. In addition to the Kunlun immortal sect and our Tewa sword sect, there are also Penglai immortal sect and Yaokai immortal sect in Dewa. They all have some immortal forces on the east continent and the west continent, but they are not called immortal sections, but called the temple. Ye Wuhan immediately spoke directly again, telling Li Hao what he knew without reservation. Li Hao was shocked when he heard Ye Wuhan's words. In addition to these immortal sects, there are many forces with monks, such as Beiwa Valley and Feizang Temple. Even among the family forces in Jinghua, there are also monks. Ye Wuhan continued, which gave Li Hao an eye-opening feeling. You disciples of the immortal sect, why did you come down the mountain? But at this time, Li Hao asked Ye Wuhan again. Li Hao felt that these guys would not come down the mountain for no reason. They must be for something. They killed a guy from the Kunlun immortal sect in front of them, and then a disciple of the Tewa sword sect appeared behind them. This. Hearing Li Hao's question, Ye Wuhan hesitated for a moment, as if he didn't want to say anything. Speak or die. It's your choice. However, Li Hao's voice reached his ears directly again, making his heart tremble. Okay, I said. Ye Wuhan said immediately. Actually, we came down the mountain this time to look for something. Ye Wuhan said directly. What? Li Hao asked again. The key to the secret realm. The next moment, Ye Wuhan said again, and the words he said made Li Hao's heart freeze again. Secret realm. I heard a new term again. I saw Na. Ye Wuhan immediately nodded again and continued. Well, a secret realm. A secret realm of a powerful monk. It is said that it is a secret realm left by an ancient powerful monk. It will be opened once every 100 years, but if you want to open it and enter it, you need to find the key to this secret realm. I don't know exactly what this key looks like, but it is said that it is often something related to girls. Every time a secret realm is about to be opened, the key will be obtained by some destined people in the world. This night Wuhan said directly again. Li Hao was shocked when he heard Ye Wuhan's words, but he also had doubts. Why is it something related to girls? According to my master, the ancient powerful monk who left this secret realm seems to be a woman. And the entrance to the secret realm is within the scope of the Yaokai Immortal section. The people in the Yaokai Immortal sect are all women. Ye Wuhan immediately said again, but this reason was a bit far-fetched. Your sect should have sent more than just you down, right? Li Hao immediately asked again, since we are looking for something, the more people there, the better. Of course not, there are several more, 10 people in total. Ye Wuhan said directly. Then the Kunlun immortal sect is the same. Li Hao asked another concerned question. It should be about the same. I don't know the specific amount, but the difference will not be too big, because we, the immortal sect, and the secular forces also have agreements with each other. Don't worry, brother, I won't tell this matter. When Li Hao heard this, he couldn't help but feel condensed in his heart. In this way, Na Yun was just one of the disciples sent by the Kunlun immortal sect. If that's the case, it probably isn't too important. How strong is the Kunlun immortal sect? But to be on the safe side, Li Hao continued to ask. The disciples should all be foundation builders. There should be hundreds of them. As for the strength of the senior leaders, I don't know the specifics. They should be similar to those of our Tewa sword section. Ye Wuhan said without reservation again. Be specific. Li Hao said in a deep voice again. Ye Wuhan suddenly condensed again. Naturally, he could tell that the young man in front of him wanted to find out the strength of the Kunlun immortal sect from his mouth for his own safety. There are 3 elders in our Tewa sword sect, all of whom are strong in the Dan formation realm. The sect leader is a master in the divine transformation realm. The Kunlun immortal sect should be a little weaker, but not too much. Ye Wuhan suddenly said in a deep voice, with a sense of pride in his voice. The 3 major elixir formations. And a master in the realm of gods. Hearing this, Li Hao's eyes froze again, but he felt a little relieved. I am not afraid of the Danji realm at all, because I am already in the late stage Danji stage. As for the realm of divine transformation, he is still some distance away, but even if he kills Na Yun, the master of the Kunlun immortal sect will not directly attack him, right? So, don't be afraid. In Li Hao's heart, After understanding the strength of Kunlun immortal sect, he felt a little confident. No matter what happens, he has already obtained the recipe for the God transformation pill. As long as he finds the elixir for refining the God transformation pill, he can refine the God transformation pill. At that time, as long as he successfully refines the God transformation pill, he can directly break through to the state of transformation into gods. Even if the master of the Kunlun immortal sect takes action against him, Li Hao doesn't have any fear. What strength? In the final analysis, everything is a matter of strength. It seems that we have to get the magic pill later. Li Hao murmured, already having his own plan in mind. When he was ready to go back, he would study the formula of the God transformation pill and break through to the God transformation realm as soon as possible. What exactly is the key to the secret realm? God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 308. Li Hao had a clearer understanding of the strength of the Kunlun immortal sect from Ye Wuhan's words. This Kunlun immortal sect actually has a powerful person who can transform into gods. But thinking about it, it is normal. After all, the Kunlun immortal sect has been passed down for countless years. The reason why these immortal sects came down the mountain to find the key to the secret realm while walking in the world was originally to find the key to the secret realm. The secret realm left by the ancient powerful men was located within the scope of the Yaokai immortal sect. What on earth is this key? Li Hao couldn't help but wonder in his heart again, and murmured. But the next moment, Li Hao was suddenly startled. Secret key? Things related to women. Hiss. Could it be? Li Hao took a breath and suddenly thought of something. There seemed to be a hosta in the world of his system. That hosta was bought by Li Hao in Kailan ancient town a long time ago. At that time, the system also gave him a prompt about the key. Damn it, Li Hao almost forgot about this hosta, because he had gotten it for a long time, and this hosta was not a magic weapon or anything like that. It had no use at all, so Li Hao just threw it into the system. A random corner of the world. Suddenly thinking about it at this moment made Li Hao's heart shake. This hosta is also something used by women. Thinking about it this way, Li Hao felt more and more that this hosta was the key to the secret realm that these immortal sects were looking for when traveling around the world. Li Hao was at least 89% sure. Brother, I have told you everything I know. Can I leave? At this time, Ye Wuhan in front of him weakly asked Li Hao again. Okay, but... Li Hao said lightly, but a cold smile appeared on his face. But what? Ye Wuhan looked confused, but when he saw Li Hao's smile, he couldn't help but chuckle. Li Hao slowly raised his hand, and a terrifying power of cultivation was instantly released from his body. At this moment, it seemed as if the entire world was under Li Hao's control. Ye Wuhan's complexion changed drastically, and he activated his cultivation power in an instant, but then he was shocked to find that the spiritual power of heaven and earth was no longer under his control, and his whole body seemed to be stripped away by this world. Average. Brother, don't kill me, I said everything. Ye Wuhan said quickly again. I won't kill you. Li Hao's voice came faintly again. Li Hao's hand moved several times in the space, and a spiritual light shone on his fingers. Suddenly, strange runes appeared on Li Hao's hand. The rune instantly grew larger and then covered Ye Wuhan's head directly. At this moment, Ye Wuhan's whole body trembled, as if the whole sky was pressed down, and then he was enveloped by a strange power, and his soul couldn't help but tremble. The next moment, a drop of his body's blood essence was condensed out of Ye Wuhan's body uncontrollably. Then, Ye Wuhan was shocked to see that this drop of his blood floated directly and then entered the rune. Whoosh! Immediately afterwards, Ye Wuhan's drop of essence and blood disappeared directly, and his whole body felt momentarily lost. The next moment, Ye Wuhan was shocked to feel that there seemed to be a connection between him and the other party. No, it couldn't be said to be a connection, but it seemed that he was directly controlled by the other party. The other person can make him burp with just a thought. Is this a soul contract? Ye Wilhen opened his mouth wide and his face became extremely ugly. As a disciple of Tewa Sword Sect, he naturally knew about the soul contract. Isn't it the soul contract that the other party is using on him now? Ye Wilhen did not expect that the other party would actually make a soul contract, and that he would be forced into a contract by the other party without any resistance. What a terrible means! Ye Wilhen was shocked and wanted to cry. Now, you can go. But at this time, Li Hao's voice came faintly again. Li Hao smiled and looked at Ye Wilhen. After signing the soul contract, the life and death of the other party depended on his own thoughts. A person in the late stage of foundation building monk, it would be a pity if you don't use it for yourself. Ye Wilhen. Ye Wilhen stood there blankly, doubting life and not knowing what to do next. Li Hao ignored this guy and left directly, returning to Jiangbei No. 1 courtyard. In the room. In Li Hao's hand, he was playing with a jade hosta. There were strange patterns on the hosta. It was very exquisitely made and had an aura of eternity. It was exactly the same hosta that he got from Kailan ancient town. Is this the key to the secret realm of Yaokai? There's nothing strange about it. Li Hao looked at the hosta in his hand, but he didn't see anything strange about it. It was really hard to imagine that this hosta could be the key to a secret realm left by an ancient powerful man. Afterwards, Li Hao directly collected the hosta. In his mind, the recipe for the God Transformation Pill came to mind again. The God Transformation Pill, as the name suggests, is a pill that allows foundation building monks to successfully break through to the God Transformation realm. The realm of transforming gods is also called the realm of masters. As long as you become a monk in the realm of transforming gods, it means that you are standing at the top of the continent. I have mastered the god-level alchemy technique, and my cultivation is already at the advanced stage of pill formation. Refining the god-transforming pill is not a problem, but for now, I mainly focus on refining the elixir of the god-transforming pill. 9-leaf lotus, dragon snake root, 7-star grass, magic god flower, century-old snow lotus king, mysterious soul grass. In Li Hao's mind, the names of various spiritual herbs kept appearing. These spiritual herbs were the spiritual herbs needed to refine the magic pill. The next moment, Li Hao took out his mobile phone, edited a message and sent it, and then made another call. Jinghua, the Zhou family, and Zhou Kunlun were shocked when they saw the display on their mobile phones and quickly picked up the phone. "Hello, young master." Zhou Kunlun shouted respectfully. "I sent you a message. Please take a look. I want to refine an elixir and I need these elixirs." Li Hao ordered directly to Zhou Kunlun. When Zhou Kunlun heard Li Hao's words, he couldn't help but look shocked again. Li Hao actually asked him to collect these elixirs. Refining elixirs? Last time, the young master casually took out the foundation building pill, but this time he actually wanted to refine the pill. What kind of pill could it be? And from these elixirs, Zhou Kunlun realized the extraordinary nature of the elixir that Li Hao wanted to refine. "Don't worry, young master, I will definitely take care of this matter." Zhou Kunlun couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement in his heart, and said quickly. Li Hao hung up the phone directly. It would be best to leave the collection of elixirs to Zhou Kunlun and the others. "Dad, is it the young master?" Next to Zhou Kunlun, Zhou Junja was also there, and he immediately asked Zhou Kunlun. "Well, the young master needs some elixirs to refine the elixirs. Let me check quickly to see if they are available in our pharmacies and warehouses. If there are any, collect them all and send them to the young master together." Zhou Kunlun suddenly said in a deep voice. "Refining elixirs." When Zhou Junja heard his father's words, his expression turned into surprise, and he felt excited in his heart. I heard Zhou Kunlun say in a deep voice again. That's right, refining the elixir. I have a feeling that the elixir that the young master is going to refine this time must be extraordinary. We must handle this matter well. If the young master is happy, then give us an elixir. Words. Zhou Kunlun's voice fell into Zhou Junja's ears, but it shocked Zhou Junja's heart. Dad, I'm going to check right away. Zhou Junja walked away happily to collect these elixirs. His Zhou family is a family of medicine. They own many pharmacies across the country, and naturally they have a lot of miraculous medicines. Zhou Junja's work efficiency was also very high. He quickly collected many elixirs, including basically all the elixirs given by Li Hao. The next day, Zhou Kunlun called again. Hello. Li Hao answered the phone directly. Young master. Zhou Kunlun's voice rang on the phone. How is the collection of elixirs going? Li Hao asked directly in a deep voice. Young master, most of the elixirs you gave us have been collected, but there is one elixir that is not available in all our warehouses and pharmacies. Not even the pharmacies of Yirantang and Tongxintang. Zhou Kunlun said directly. What elixir? Li Hao asked again. The Centennial Snow Lotus King. We do have some ordinary Snow Lotus, but if it's the Centennial Snow Lotus King, we don't have any. Zhou Kunlun said quickly. No. When Li Hao heard Zhou Kunlun's words, his expression became condensed again. The century-old Snow Lotus King is the main medicine for refining the God transformation pill and is indispensable. However, ordinary Snow Lotus does not have that kind of spirituality or effect at all. Is there any place where it might be possible? Li Hao asked again in a deep voice. Young master, this Snow Lotus comes from Tianshan Mountain, and Tianshan Mountain is over there in Zhang District. There should be many there, but I don't know if there is a century-old Snow Lotus King. Zhou Kunlun suddenly said again, not sure. Okay, I understand. Send the other elixirs directly to me. Li Hao said immediately, his heart condensed again. Tianshan Mountain in Zhang District? It looks like I have to go to Zhang District. Li Hao murmured, having already made a decision in his heart. Now that he had this plan, Li Hao took action directly and was ready to set off. Li Hao took out his mobile phone and sent a message directly to Ye Xiun, saying that he was going to Zhang District for business and it might take a day or two before he could come back. But it was beyond Li Hao's expectation. Soon, another message was sent. Ye Xiun, wait for me, I want to go too. A simple sentence, but with incomparable determination. Li Hao. Li Hao was immediately confused and sent a few questions. Ye Xiun, if you don't wait for my words, you're dead. I will never pay attention to you again. Li Hao was helpless when he saw the news. All right. So, more than half an hour later, Ye Xiun hurried back again. If you have a conscience, just wait for me and I'll clean it up. When Ye Xiun saw Li Hao waiting for her, a stunning smile appeared on her face, she said to Li Hao, and then went to the room, as if to pack things. I'm going to do something, why are you following me? Seeing this scene, Li Hao couldn't help but was speechless and said immediately. Do your business. I haven't been to Zhang District yet. I just happened to go see the Potala Palace. Ye Xiun said directly again. Li Hao. After a while, Ye Xiun walked out dragging a suitcase. The suitcase looked quite heavy, and she didn't know what it contained. Li Hao didn't ask any more questions. Li Hao, have you booked your flight tickets? Ye Xiun asked Li Hao again. Li Hao shook his head. Ah. You haven't decided yet? Then I'll make a temporary decision. What's your ID number? Hearing Li Hao say that the flight tickets have not been booked yet, Ye Xiun immediately took out her mobile phone and prepared to book the flight tickets. No. The ticket has already been booked. Li Hao said directly again, and then took the initiative to take the luggage from Ye Xiun's hand. Meow. At this time, a cat came over. It was a white cat and barked at the two of them. What? You want to go too? Li Hao heard the white cat's cry, and he naturally knew what the white cat meant as he had the same idea as the white cat. The white cat obviously wanted to follow the two of them. That's not okay. Just stay at home. Guard your home. I'm going to look for the elixir. I'll refine the elixir later, and you're indispensable. Li Hao immediately said to the white cat again. Meow. When the white cat heard Li Hao's words, he barked again before agreeing. As a result, Li Hao and Ye Xiun got into Li Hao's Lamborghini and headed directly to the airport. If you go to Zhang district from Jiangbei, it is still quite far, especially Tianshan Mountain and the Potala Palace. Driving takes a long time, so flying is the best option. Li Hao drove the car at high speed and arrived at Jiangbei Airport in less than half an hour. Li Hao took Ye Xiun through the exclusive passage into the airport with ease, and then went to an exclusive boarding gate. Boss. Boss. Dot. When a captain and several other beautiful stewardesses in uniform stood at the boarding gate and called Li Hao boss, Ye Xiun next to her was shocked again. Boss. Li Hao, what's going on? Ye Xiun was stunned and couldn't help but ask Li Hao with her beautiful eyes widened. Another faint smile appeared on Li Hao's face. I am the boss of their airline, and this plane is mine too. Li Hao said calmly again, but the words he said made Ye Xiun's heart tremble again. Is this a private jet? Ye Xiun asked in shock again. Let's go up. Li Hao didn't say anything more and just boarded the plane. Ye Xiun was extremely shocked at this moment, and followed Li Hao onto the plane again. As soon as she entered, Ye Xiun was completely shocked by the luxurious decoration inside the aircraft. Oh my god! God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 309. Ye Xiun did not expect that Li Hao was the boss of an airline company and actually owned a private jet. Ye Xiun's heart trembled when she looked at the luxurious decorations in the plane. She had a deeper understanding of Li Hao's arrogance. Ye Xiun looked at the space of the airplane in front of her, which was filled with luxurious leather sofas, massage chairs, and televisions. This place was like the living room of a mansion. Then, Ye Xiun looked inside. Inside, there is actually a conference hall and a restaurant. It is really like a mobile palace in the sky. When Ye Xiun came to the tail of the plane, an independent bedroom immediately caught her eye. What a big bed, the bed is so comfortable. In the center of this independent bedroom, there is a huge bed, which can sleep 4 or 5 people. It actually has an independent bathroom. The most important thing is that there are windows, so you can see the outside scene. Wow, there's a bathroom and you can see outside. Ye Xiun said in amazement, with stars in her eyes. When Li Hao saw this scene, he couldn't help but laugh again and said weakly. Would you like to lie down and try it? Hearing this, Ye Xiun couldn't help but blush again on her pretty face. Okay. Surprisingly, Ye Xiun sat directly on it, then supported her head with one hand and lay on her side. That posture, that exquisite figure, is simply seductive. Want to come together? Ye Xiun raised her fingers and said to Li Hao. Okay. When Li Hao heard Ye Xiun's words, he couldn't help but feel something in his heart, and secretly said, Fairy, take a stick from my old grandson. Li Hao took 2 steps forward and looked at Ye Xiun, who was lying on her side on the bed, and felt a burning sensation in his heart. Without saying a word, Li Hao took off the clothes on his upper body, revealing his strong muscles, and prepared to carry the stick into battle. Since Ye Xiun said so, he would be too embarrassed to refuse, wouldn't he? For Ye Xiun's needs, Li Hao obliged. Get ready, I'm coming. Li Hao said in a deep voice again, intending to pounce towards Ye Xiun. However, at this time, Ye Xiun directly resisted Li Hao. What do you want to do? Yeshun asked Li Hao. Do it? Li Hao was speechless. It was so obvious. Are you still asking? It's such a wide place here. You can lie down wherever you want. Why are you crowded with others? Yeshun said to Li Hao again. What? Such a wide position? Li Hao couldn't help but was stunned again. What Yeshun said about lying down was simply lying down. Li Hao was speechless, extremely speechless. Forget it, I won't lie down anymore. It's not fun at all. I don't know if it's good or bad to take this girl with me. Li Hao walked out again, slightly unhappy. Boss, can I get you a glass of water? Boss, let me give you a massage. At this time, the two exclusive flight attendant girls saw Li Hao coming out and immediately said to Li Hao. Well, it's better for you too. Li Hao nodded and couldn't help but praise, his voice was deliberately a little loud. When Yeshun in the room heard this, her pretty face could not help but become cold. Hum. A cold snort couldn't help but come out of Yeshun's mouth. Soon, Li Hao's private plane took off directly and headed for Zhang district. More than 2 hours later, Li Hao's private plane arrived at Buda Airport in Zhang district. Li Hao and Yeshun walked out of the airport directly and saw a beautiful scene. The sky here is blue and the sun shines directly. The air here is clean, but a little thin. The buildings here are red and very characteristic of Zhang district. The people here have dark skin. A huge city without high-rise buildings, but still full of modern atmosphere. Although these people have dark complexions, they look extremely simple and their eyes are very clean. At a glance, a few kilometers away, on a towering ridge, there is a palace of several sizes standing. It is built against the mountain with overlapping buildings. The main building is divided into two parts, the White Palace and the Red Palace. This palace is hundreds of meters high. Layer after layer, looking extremely majestic. Wow, Potala Palace. Seeing this magnificent palace, Yeshun couldn't help but exclaimed. But Yeshun had just finished speaking. Suddenly, Yeshun's body swayed, and a feeling of dizziness came over her instantly, making her unsteady and almost falling down. Li Hao, with quick eyes and quick hands, directly supported Yeshun. Are you okay? Li Hao suddenly asked Yeshun softly. I don't know what's going on. I feel a little dizzy, my chest is a little tight and I feel like vomiting. Yeshun immediately said to Li Hao. Her whole pretty face changed color and she felt very uncomfortable. She was rubbing her chest with her hands and her breathing was a little short. Chest tightness and dizziness. Still want to vomit? Li Hao's expression was slightly condensed, and he had no intention of admiring the beautiful scenery, and suddenly said in a deep voice. You are suffering from altitude sickness. It doesn't matter, I will just give you an injection and it will be fine. Li Hao, who possesses divine medical skills, could tell at a glance that Yeshun was clearly suffering from altitude sickness. Because of the high altitude and lack of air here, Yeshun's body has not yet adapted. Ah, really? Yeshun couldn't help but feel happy again when she heard Li Hao's words. Come, lie down. Li Hao found a seat and sat down, then laid Yeshun flat on his legs. The next moment, a jade needle appeared in Li Hao's hand, which was the Tianqian 9 needles. Ah! Seeing this jade needle and being held by Li Hao, Yeshun couldn't help but scream again, feeling that she couldn't breathe anymore, and closed her eyes directly. Then, Li Hao activated the power of cultivation and injected it into the jade needle. There was a trace of spiritual power condensed on the jade needle, and then Li Hao directly pierced the jade needle into Yeshun's chest. Soon, the adverse reactions in Yeshun's body disappeared directly, her breathing became normal, and her complexion recovered. Is it really better? I'm not dizzy anymore, and I don't want to vomit anymore. Yeshun felt the changes in her body, widened her eyes and said to Li Hao in surprise. Her altitude reaction is gone, she has adapted. Li Hao took Yeshun and left the Potala airport, then took a taxi to the city. Soon, the two arrived at the square in front of the Potala Palace. This was the place Yeshun wanted to come to the most, and it was her first time. When they got off the car, they saw that there were many people gathered in the square, including tourists and many people from the Tibetan area. What are they doing? At this time, Yeshun suddenly asked Li Hao. Because she saw that some people were actually lying on the ground. No, not lying on the ground, but constantly standing up and lying down in one place, standing up and lying down again. They are worshipping. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Tien Taido. Chapter 310. Worship. Hearing Li Hao's words, Yeshun's eyes moved again. Li Hao's eyes at this moment also fell on these people. Among the endless crowds, in addition to tourists, there are some figures who look very special. They keep worshipping in one direction, with solemn expressions and incomparable piety in their eyes. These people are not affected by the surrounding tourists at all, nor do they care about other people's special opinions about them. They are completely immersed in their own world. Their faces were firm and dusty, and they kept crawling down to worship. Their consistent movements and pious hearts interpreted and told people about another world deep in their hearts. Seeing this scene, Li Hao couldn't help but be moved by it. Among these people were stumbling old men, teenagers who had not yet grown tall, young girls, women carrying children on their backs, and even old men on crutches, kowtowing their heads piously, step by step. Another step, get up and kneel down, repeat again and again, some knock every 3 steps, some buckle every 7 steps, some are from this place, some are from other places, the stained apron in front of him, even all worn and torn, telling of their piety and the hours of kneeling. At that moment, I really couldn't use words to describe the scene in front of me. Such a scene touched the hearts of Li Hao and Yeshun. The piety and tenacity deep in their hearts deeply shocked their hearts. But at this moment, not far in front of the two of them, there was a little boy with dark skin who was also worshipping. His hair was a little messy and he looked like he was about 10 years old. Wearing blue clothes and a black apron, the apron is also shabby, and in his 2 hands, he still holds 2 wooden boards. The wooden boards were obviously worn to protect his hands during worship. When Li Hao and Yeshun saw this little boy, they couldn't help but feel a twinge of fear in their hearts. The little boy was seen worshipping and moving forward, and soon came to Li Hao and Yeshun. The little boy's eyes were clean, but there was some dirt on his face, and there were some calluses on his forehead, which seemed to be left by different kowtows. Moreover, this little boy was fat and seemed to be alone without his family or companions. Such a young child is actually worshipping. How pitiful! When Yeshun saw this scene, she couldn't help but said aloud. She felt pity for this little boy and couldn't bear it. Immediately afterwards, Yeshun shouted to the little boy softly. Little brother. At this time, the little boy heard Yeshun's voice and couldn't help but raise his head and look at Yeshun. Hello sister. When the little boy saw a beautiful sister, he felt a little shy. His dark face actually seemed a little red, but he still shouted with a smile. His simple smile made Yeshun feel a touch of peace and innocence. Little brother, what's your name? Yeshun asked directly to the little boy again. Sister, my name is Tashi. The little boy said shyly again. Little Tashi, why are you still worshipping at such a young age? Aren't you in pain? Aren't you tired? Yeshun couldn't help but said to the little boy. The little boy was stunned when he heard Yeshun's words. The little boy Tashi shook his head again, but still showed a sunny smile and said to Yeshun. It won't hurt once you get used to it. But Yeshun and Li Hao couldn't help but be moved when they heard the little boy's words. It won't hurt once you get used to it. In other words, the little boy had been in pain for who knows how long and was used to it. Little Tashi, why are you worshipping here alone? Where are your parents? Don't you even go to school? At this time, Yeshun asked another question that she was more concerned about. When the little boy heard Yeshun's words, the smile on his face suddenly solidified, and his expression became a little gloomy. My father is dead and my mother is sick. I want to go to His Holiness to ask for divine water to cure my mother. The little boy said slowly again, but his childish voice was full of determination. Li Hao and Yeshun couldn't help but feel moved again. What a poor child. Then you come here alone, what will your mother do? Yeshun asked again. My grandma takes care of my mother, but if I don't get the magic water this time, my mother is afraid that she will die. I don't want my mother to die. Although the little boy is very small, he talks like an adult. Maybe this is what the so-called poor children should do early. Go to the doctor when you are sick. You'd better go to the hospital for a checkup. Yeshun said to the little boy again. I've been to the hospital many times, spent a lot of money, and even sold out all the animals in our family, and the doctors still say they can't cure it. The little boy said weakly again, looking a little sad and depressed. Grandma said that as long as I ask for His Holiness's divine water, I can save my mother. His Dharma King is the most powerful immortal cultivator in our Zhang district. His divine water can drive away all diseases and will definitely cure my mother. The little boy was talking, but when he talked about the Dharma King, there was a brightness in his eyes that could not be concealed, as if that was his belief. Li Hao has been listening quietly without speaking. This little boy is not from this place, but comes from a small village more than 100 kilometers away. He walked for more than half a month to get here, and he came here as a pilgrim, and his family also only his seriously ill mother and elderly grandma were left. Fa Wang Temple, who came here specifically, wanted to ask for a glass of divine water that the Dharma King had blessed, just to save his mother's life. Li Hao, he is so pitiful. Can you save his mother? At this time, Yeshun looked at Li Hao again and asked. She knew that Li Hao was also a powerful monk with extraordinary methods. If anyone could save the little boy's mother, it would be Li Hao. Li Hao heard Yeshun's words, but still didn't speak. In fact, Li Hao had just had the idea of helping this little boy. This was something he could do, and it could directly save a life and a family. Li Hao looked at the little boy again. Little Tashi, I can cure your mother. How about I save your mother? Li Hao suddenly said with a smile again. Hearing Li Hao's words, the little boy was stunned for a moment, and looked at Li Hao in surprise. You can save my mom? Really? The little boy asked in disbelief. If even he can't save your mother, then this Dharma King certainly can't either. Without waiting for Li Hao to answer, Yeshun next to her suddenly said again, believing in Li Hao very much. I don't allow you, Lord Dharma King. You are lying to me, right? Only Dharma King can cure my mother. Hearing Yeshun's words, the little boy's face suddenly turned cold, and he spoke angrily to the two of them. The Dharma King is the faith in the little boy's heart. No one can fault the Dharma King. When he heard Yeshun saying that the Dharma King could not do it, the little boy suddenly became angry. I won't tell you any more. I heard the little boy say to Li Hao and Li Hao again, and then he started to lie down on the ground again, and he lay down straight. The little boy named Tashi immediately started to worship again. Li Hao spread his hands and looked at Yeshun. Yeshun's face also looked a little unattractive. They took the initiative to help the little boy, but the little boy didn't believe it. Li Hao. Yeshun weakly shouted to Li Hao, looking at Li Hao with beautiful eyes, her thoughts moved, as if she was still worried about this little boy. Don't worry, I will help him cure his mother. Li Hao suddenly laughed again and said in a deep voice. He naturally knew what Yeshun meant. Hey, you're so kind. Yeshun suddenly laughed again when she heard Li Hao's words. Let's go, let's follow, and go to the Potala Palace. We'll just go to the Dharma King temple to see what the Dharma King is capable of. Li Hao immediately said to Yeshun again. Yeshun nodded and responded. Then the two of them headed directly towards the Potala Palace on the ridge. The Potala Palace is the most iconic building in Zhang district, and here is the Fa Wang temple where the Dharma King lives. Dharma King, as the most powerful monk in Zhang district, is also the belief of countless people in Zhang district. He is a powerful figure who has seen the dragon but never seen its end. At this moment, Li Hao and Yeshun slowly followed the little boy and entered the Potala Palace unknowingly. There are people everywhere, and it is very lively. In addition to tourists and pilgrims, there are also some lamas. Each of these lamas has a shiny face, fat head, big ears, and a strong body. Finally, after crossing several floors of buildings, a temple appeared in front of Li Hao. On the temple, the words Fa Wang Temple are clearly written. This is where the Dharma King lives and practices. In front of the Fa Wang Temple, figures were lying on the ground, worshipping towards the Fa Wang Temple, and never stood up, their eyes filled with devout faith. In front, there is another pond, which is actually a lotus pond, covered with lotus leaves and lotus flowers. Beside this pool, there were some great lamas guarding them, with extremely arrogant expressions on their faces, looking aloof. These pilgrims seemed to be waiting for something. Li Hao and Yeshun saw that the little boy from before had joined these people. And Li Hao's eyes fell on the lotus pond. The water inside was actually a spring water emerging from the ground, and it actually contained a relatively strong spiritual energy. It was not an exaggeration to call it a spiritual spring. If this spiritual spring were drunk by these ordinary people, it would not be a problem to strengthen the body and prolong life, but there was still a certain gap between it and the kind of divine water that could whiten flesh and bones and cure terminal diseases. The next moment, Li Hao looked at these lamas again. Suddenly, Li Hao's eyes froze and he let out a sound of surprise. Li Hao saw two lamas by the pool, who seemed familiar. Immediately afterwards, Li Hao thought about it. Aren't these two lamas the same two masters Zhang who were injured by him? Li Hao still remembers the names of two people, one is Qianba and the other is Nima. Li Hao did not expect to meet these two people here, and from these two people, Li Hao actually felt the fluctuation of the foundation building stage. These two people are actually already foundation building cultivators. This was somewhat beyond Li Hao's expectations. I remember that at that time, these two people were only half a step into the foundation building stage and were injured by me. After not seeing each other for so many days, they actually broke through. What's wrong? Li Hao. Yeshun, who was next to him, heard Li Hao's light exclamation and immediately asked Li Hao in confusion. Without waiting for Li Hao to answer, among the lamas in front, Qiangba and Nima also set their sights on Li Hao and the others. Because many people here are pilgrims, and at this moment, they have basically crouched down, and only a few tourists are still standing, so they are very conspicuous, so that Qiangba and Nima also noticed Li Hao directly. At this moment, Qiangba and Nima were obviously stunned. It's you. Great, you actually came to our territory. Qiangba and Nima said to Li Hao in a stern voice, and a hint of unkindness appeared in their eyes. As the saying goes, enemies are particularly jealous when they meet. Qiangba, Nima, what's going on? Who is this guy? At this time, next to Qiangba and Nima, a man who was also wearing lama clothes frowned and asked the two of them. Brother Yumuo, it's him. When we were in the magic city, he injured us and broke all the magic tools that our master gave us. And Qiangba immediately said to the man again. Oh. So, he is also a cultivator. The man named Yumuo, when he heard Qiangba's words, his face condensed, and he immediately looked at Li Hao again. The person who could injure Qiangba and Nima and destroy the magic tools must be a cultivator. And this Yumu is the senior brother of Nima and Qiangba, and also a master. This Yumu glanced at Li Hao, and then his eyes fell on Yeshun beside Li Hao. His eyes couldn't help but light up, and a strange color appeared. Such a beautiful woman, it would be great if he could accept her as a believer. The next moment, this Yumu took a few steps forward and came directly in front of Li Hao and Nima, and Qiangba followed behind him. "Boy, it's you who hurt my two junior brothers." This Yumu said directly to Li Hao in a deep voice, with a bad face and a strong momentum. Li Hao saw this scene, but he laughed and said indifferently, "Yes, it's me. What do you want to do? Kneel down and apologize, and let her go in with me to pay homage to the Dharma King, and I will spare your life." Only to hear this Yumu said in a stern voice again. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 311. Kneel down and apologize. This Yumu actually wanted to kneel down and apologize, and asked Yeshun to follow him in to see the Dharma King. Are you thinking too much? Li Hao looked coldly at the senior brothers Qianba and Nima in front of him and said in a deep voice. This is what I should say to you. Kneel down and apologize. Maybe your lives can be spared. You are looking for death. Brother. Kill this guy. After hearing Li Hao's words, the faces of Qiangba, Nima, and others suddenly became very ugly, and they said angrily. Boom. At the same time, Master Mu's body suddenly released a powerful aura of cultivation, which was the aura of the late stage of foundation building. Boy, suffer death. Master Yumu said sternly to Li Hao again. A powerful aura descended on Li Hao, but Li Hao still stood there, his expression unchanged. It's just you. You're not qualified. When Li Hao saw this scene, he said calmly. Kneel down. Li Hao shouted coldly, but his voice echoed in the space like thunder. At this scene, even the worshippers lying on the ground raised their heads and couldn't help but look at Li Hao, with a look of shock on their expressions. Who is that? How dare you disrespect your master? It's really life and death. Have you eaten the leopard's courage? They are not from our Zhang district. For a time, a series of voices suddenly came out from the mouths of these worshippers, and many of them had a hint of evil in their eyes. Court death. When Master Yumu heard Li Hao's words, his eyes flashed, and he shouted at Li Hao sternly. He burst out with full force to attack Li Hao, and there was a spiritual light flowing around his body. In the eyes of everyone, a brilliant divine light emerged from the body of this wood master, making this wood master look extremely aloof, like a real god. If you dare to be disrespectful to your master, Master Yumu will teach him a lesson. Master Yumu is the great disciple of His Holiness the King of Dharma, and he has received the true biography of His Majesty the King of Dharma. This is a truly magical method. This guy is miserable. But he brought it on himself. Li Hao remained motionless, but watched coldly as the wood master's attack came. Boom. The next moment, a force of cultivation was faintly circulating in Li Hao's body. Seeing that Master Yumu's offensive was about to fall on Li Hao, when he was less than 3 inches away from Li Hao's body, Master Yumu's offensive stopped again, and was blocked by an invisible force. It was blocked and couldn't advance any further. Master Yumu's expression suddenly changed and became extremely horrified. How so? At this moment, he felt a sense of complete strength around the other person's body. Just at this moment, a cold arc appeared at the corner of Li Hao's mouth. That's it? Li Hao said lightly, his voice filled with a hint of sarcasm that could not be concealed. I said, let you kneel down. The next moment, Li Hao said coldly again. There seemed to be a surge of heavenly power in this voice, and it was irresistible as if everything was said and done. As Li Hao's voice fell, a majestic force directly suppressed Master Yumu's body, as if all the spiritual power in this world fell on him. At this moment, Master Yumu's expression changed with horror. From the young man in front of him, he felt an earth-shattering feeling. Bang! Immediately afterwards, a dull sound suddenly came out. Everyone was shocked to see Master Yumu's body kneeling straight down, and the sound just made when his knees hit the ground. At the same time, a stream of blood spurted out directly from Master Yumu's mouth. Master Yumu's expression was filled with utter horror. How is this possible? Master Yumu couldn't believe it. The opponent was actually stronger than him. The opponent didn't even take action, but he knelt down directly. The gap was not huge, but insurmountable. Crush. It's a complete crush. Brother. Senior brother. Not far away, when Kyangba and Master Nima saw this scene, their expressions changed drastically, and they burst out with their cultivation power and rushed towards Li Hao. Roll. But when Li Hao saw this scene, he shouted angrily again, and Li Hao's voice was filled with a hint of thunder. In an instant, Kyangba and Master Nima spurted out blood. As if they had been hit hard, they flew backwards and fell far away. Aren't you coming out yet? However, Li Hao didn't even look at Kyangba and the others. He even ignored Master Yumu, who was kneeling on the ground. Instead, he looked into the Dharma King temple and said in a deep voice, "If they don't come out, they will die." Li Hao said calmly, but there was a hint of doubt in his voice. Li Hao's words were not addressed to anyone else, but to the Dharma King. Li Hao had already felt a very powerful aura in the Dharma King temple before. Who else could it be besides the Dharma King of the Dharma King temple? And from the opponent's aura, Li Hao also felt a touch of total power, which had clearly surpassed the foundation building, and it was the formation of pills. Since Li Hao can feel the other person, what happened here cannot escape the other person's perception. Boom! As Li Hao's voice fell, an extremely powerful momentum rolled out from the depths of Fa Wang Temple. If they die, you won't survive. A cold voice resounded in this space again. As the voice fell, a figure appeared from the Dharma King temple and walked towards here step by step. It was unpleasant to look at, but in an instant he was already outside the Dharma King temple. That figure was a monk wearing monk's robes, which was similar to the clothes worn by lamas, but there were some differences. There was a sense of majesty on his body. He walked step by step, but he was not stepping on the ground, but on the void. Step into the air an inch above the ground. Seeing this scene, excitement suddenly appeared on the faces of the surrounding worshippers. It's the Dharma King. His Holiness the Dharma King is out. Ah, His Majesty the Dharma King is flying. This is a true fairy. Dot. A series of exclamations suddenly came from the mouths of these worshippers. This scene in their eyes made them extremely shocked. This was clearly a real divine method. Meet the Dharma King. Meet the Dharma King. His Dharma King has appeared, please give me the divine water. Your Majesty the King of Dharma. The monk who appeared in front of them was naturally their belief in Dharma King Zhang. When they saw Dharma King's true appearance, these figures immediately knelt down and worshipped in front of them, their voices filled with incomparable respect. Master! Master! Dot. The lamas nearby also shouted when they saw the Dharma King appearing. Soon, the Dharma King came not far in front of Li Hao and looked at Li Hao coldly. Master, this is the boy who injured Nima and Kyanbo last time. At this time, Yumu suddenly spoke to the Dharma King Zhang again. I know. He will pay the price. Dharma King Zhang said lightly, but looked at Li Hao sternly and said proudly. Boy, you hurt my disciple. Do you want to give an explanation? When Li Hao heard the words of Zhang de Dharma King, he smiled lightly again. Explain? Haha, what do you want to explain? I want you two to become my followers. The Dharma King Zhang said sternly again that as long as the other party becomes his believer, everything will obey his orders and he cannot resist. He. But at this time, Li Hao sneered again. The last person I asked to answer is already dead. Li Hao said lightly again, and then an extremely arrogant voice came out of Li Hao's mouth. I, Li Hao, act as I please, so why should I answer to anyone? Even the King of Heaven and I can't do it. And you, who are you? Li Hao's voice came out directly, but it shocked everyone present. Arrogant. How arrogant? He actually didn't take the Dharma King seriously at all. Very good. Really good. I will destroy your cultivation and torture you. When the Dharma King Zhang heard what Li Hao said, he became angry instantly, with unconcealable anger in his voice. Boom. As the voice of Dharma King Zhang fell, a strong aura suddenly burst out from the body of Dharma King Zhang. The aura was so astonishing that it aroused the spiritual power of heaven and earth, shaking the entire space. The realm of pill formation. And it's still in the middle stage of the Dan formation realm. Li Hao couldn't help but be shocked by the cultivation level released by Zhang Di Dharma King. The cultivation level released by the other party was really powerful, even more powerful than other monks Li Hao had seen. Rumble. At this moment, a complete power instantly filled the air from the body of the Dharma King Zhangdi. There was a golden light on the body of the Dharma King Zhangdi, as if there was endless Buddhist power, turned into a majestic Vajra. Drink. Zhangdi Dharma King shouted angrily at Li Hao and glared angrily. Suddenly, a large palm print rushed towards Li Hao with a shocking power. This palm print cut through the space, causing the entire space to explode. When Li Hao saw this scene, his eyes also wrinkled, and for the first time he felt a hint of threat from the opponent's offensive. But this threat is only a hint. Buddha's palm seal. Li Hao's eyes were filled with disdain. I have a hand too. The next moment, as Li Hao's voice fell, an earth-shattering power of cultivation was instantly released from Li Hao's body. All the cultivation levels in the later stage of pill formation are released without any reservation. At this moment, the wind and clouds changed color, and the entire space became extremely depressed at this moment. Energy formation realm. At this moment, the face of Dharma King Zhang suddenly changed and became extremely horrified. Only at this moment did he truly feel the powerful power of cultivation. He was clearly a strong man in the Dan formation realm. Is only stronger than him, but he feels like he has miscalculated and made a mistake. But at this moment, the arrow was on the string and had to be fired. And in front of so many disciples and worshippers, he had to take action. Thunder comes. Li Hao shouted lightly again. Boom. Thunder crackled. Suddenly, the sky and the earth dimmed, and thunder shone above the 9 heavens. The sound of thunder suddenly echoed between the heaven and the earth. Boom boom boom. Then, a scene that shocked everyone happened again. Bang bang bang. The deafening roar continued to resound, and a thunder dragon appeared above the 9 heavens. It was the thunder dragon, full of the power of heaven and earth, with incomparable destructive power, and then it descended directly and came to Li Hao's side. The next moment, this thunder dragon actually circled around Li Hao's body. In an instant, Li Hao's body also had an incomparably strong thunder force. Thunder method. How is this possible? At this moment, the Zhangdi Dharma King saw the scene on Li Hao, and his face became extremely horrified and unbelievable. He couldn't believe that the other party could actually use thunder method. You know, thunder method is the most powerful force between heaven and earth. It is not something that ordinary people can control. But in front of him, this guy actually controlled thunder, which shocked the Zhangdi Dharma King to the extreme. 9 heavens thunder method. At this moment, Li Hao was naturally performing the 9 heavens thunder method. As Li Hao's cultivation level improved, his understanding of the 9 heavens thunder method became deeper and deeper. He could not only summon the nine heavens thunder to descend, but also directly control the power of thunder to condense on his body, and then go. Li Hao shouted again, and directly pushed out his palm. The palm came out with unparalleled thunder power. This was suddenly the thunder palm, full of destruction and endless violence. The next moment, boom! Li Hao's thunder palm and the Buddhist Vajra palm of the Zangdi Dharma king suddenly collided, and a roar suddenly resounded. The violent power was colliding. But a moment later, everyone saw that a figure flew backwards. Li Hao's thunder palm directly shattered the palm print of the Zangdi Dharma king like a rotten wood, and at the same time, the destructive power directly hit the Zangdi Dharma king. Puff! Zangdi spat out a mouthful of blood and flew backwards heavily. Bang 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 bang. Zangdi Dharma king landed on the ground in the distance, and his feet kept stomping on the ground, leaving deep footprints on the ground before he could stabilize his body with difficulty. At this moment, Zangdi Dharma king's eyes were filled with deep shock, and he was no longer arrogant. His monk's robes were torn and he looked extremely embarrassed. Zangdi Dharma king's face became extremely ugly, and his eyes fell on the opposite side again. The young man still stood there proudly, his figure was majestic, and the thunder was still flowing on his body. He was bathed in thunder, as if he was a thunder king, stepping on all living things. Li Hao did not expect that after he used the nine heavens thunder method, he would have such a powerful force. Although this Dharma king Zangdi was a cultivator in the middle stage of the Jindan realm, his cultivation was far inferior to his own. Coupled with his thunder magic, he was naturally no match for his own and was naturally crushed by him.